2 years ago, the Edwardsville Tigers reached the Final Four of this tournament by defeating Joliet Catholic High School in the quarterfinals 4-0. Well, this year the Tigers are back. In their fourth tournament appearance, Edwardsville takes the additional step to the Class AA final by disposing of Champaign Centennial 3-0 and streaking by Chicago Simeon 8-1 in the semifinals. On the other side of the diamond are the Hilltoppers of Joliet Catholic, playing in its sixth state tournament and its first title game in its final year as an all-boys school. The Hillmen breezed by Loves Park Harlem 10-3 in the quarterfinals and then edged out Oak Park 3-2 in the semis to reach the championship game. From Robin Roberts Stadium at Lanphier Park in Springfield, Sports Channel presents the 13th annual Illinois High School Association Class AA Baseball Championship. Today's game features the Edwardsville Tigers, the #1 ranked team in the St. Louis area, against the Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers, now ranked #1 in the Chicago area, in a game that decides the best Class AA baseball team in Illinois. Hello again, everyone. I'm Joe Passion, along with Mike McDonald, the baseball coach at Morton High School. His ball club has won the state tournament. He knows what it gets to get here. I think he's a little bit more relaxed now in the booth, but we're looking at two teams that never let down. They never relax, really, because the biggest characteristic that they both share getting to this championship game has been their aggressive play.
They are very aggressive ball clubs, and they like to run the bases and hit the ball well, and you're going to see some exciting baseball this evening.
You know, it is interesting, too, how both coaches' personalities, Mike, are so different, yet both teams play so similar.
That's true. The coach from Joliet is very relaxed. He doesn't holler at his ball players, where Coach Pyle, he uses the praise and abuse type of motivation that for his players, and it both works for both teams.
Hitting-wise, Joliet Catholic will be the host team today with the flip of the coin prior to the game, which will give Edwardsville the visitors for the first time in this tournament. Joliet Catholic has been the home team all three games in this tournament, and they bring in a ball club in hitting that has three particular players that really come up and make the key hits for them, including Todd Fitzgerald, their leadoff hitter, who's got 3 RBIs in the 2 previous games in this tournament, and Tim Cieseler, who will start on the mound as their only 400 hitter, also keys their big rallies. And Curly McGraw, Brent McGraw, their junior first baseman, has had the hottest bat in the last 4 weeks for the Hillmen.
Well, I tell you, for Edwardsville, they've got some outstanding hitting ball club, too. They've hit 370 as a team coming into this tournament. They've got some very aggressive hitters, like we mentioned earlier. They got 2 hitters coming in the ball game hitting over 400. Mark Little, their pitcher, who will be DHing in this, he'll be throwing tonight, excuse me. Normally their center fielder. He hit 412 coming into this series. And then Steve Flowers, their second baseman, scrappy little second baseman, is hitting 412. And Tim Funkhauser, the shortstop, he's hitting 333, and he's a leadoff hitter, and he's an outstanding aggressive hitter at the #1 spot.
The pitchers for today's game for the Hillmen, Tim Cieseler, their senior ace on the mound, 10-1 coming in, has 4 pitches, and he throws them all for strikes.
And Mark Little, he's a nice little right-handed pitcher. Like I say, he's not. We're comparing to Price, their #1 pitcher. He's got the fastball, the curveball, the changeup. He can mix them up, and I think we're going to see an exciting ball game this evening.
I agree, Mike. I hope you'll stay with us. The Class AA Boys Baseball Championship coming up from Springfield between the Tigers and the Hillmen, and that's next. A humid, overcast evening welcomes you to Lanphier Park at Robin Roberts Stadium in Springfield for the Illinois High School Association Class AA Baseball Championship. It's the 25-5 Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers, the home team today, against the 31-3 Edwardsville Tigers in the visiting dugout. Hello, everyone. Joe Passion along with Mike McDonald, and let's first look at the starting lineup of today's visitors. The Tigers at Edwardsville High School are here for their 4th time in their school's history, the baseball tournament finals. Leading off will be Tim Funkhauser, the shortstop, followed by John Drost, the right fielder. Tom Price, their outstanding pitcher, will be the DH today, batting 3rd, followed by the starting pitcher today, Mark Little, in the cleanup spot. Sherbo, the catcher, will bat 5th, followed by Morrison, the 3rd baseman. Flowers, or check that, Morrison, the 1st baseman. Flowers at 2nd, and then Slummer and Turner. Matt Hall will be out in left. He will not bat. The pitcher today for the Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers has been their ace all year long, Tim Cieseler, at 10-1 and an ERA of 2.44. Timmy has pitched 78 2/3 innings this season. He has given up 54 hits, 25 earned runs, has walked only 38, and has struck out 75 batters in just as many innings. The defensive look lineup outside on the field for the Hilltoppers from third to first is Brett Franceschi at the hot corner. The shortstop is their leadoff hitter, Todd Fitzgerald. Second baseman is Mark Cignoli, their home run leader. And at first base is Brett McGraw, just a junior. In left field, from left to right, is Brian Churrock. In center field, there's the speedster, Dave English. And in right field is Mike Pitak. The catcher is Mike Cardwell. The leadoff hitter for the Evansville Tigers, the shortstop, number 5, Tim Funkhauser, who happens to be the son of former Edwardsville head coach Bill Funkhauser. The umpires for today, behind the plate is Bob Stees. At first base, Tom Tauman. Down the left field line, Chuck Schaefer. The second base umpire is Melvin Herbert. At third base, Ken Palmer. And the right line umpire is Jerry Arena. The colorful helmets are part of the Tiger mystique out of Edwardsville, Mike. And you know this ball club is every year, as Tim Ciesley will find out today, certainly one of the top clubs that come out of the St. Louis area year in and year out.
I think the helmets are indicative of Coach Tom Pyle. The way he plays is very aggressive, and he's kind of a scrappy type of coach, and I think that's just kind of a flair that's added to this ball club.
So what you're saying is the colorful helmets indicate the colorful personality, and we understate that somewhat, of manager Tom Pyle. By the way, this Edwardsville team ranked 17th this week in the USA Today high school baseball poll. So this is the 17th best team in the country, according to USA Today. And Tim Ciesley apparently maybe feels it a little bit. He's fallen behind 3-0 to Funkhauser.
Funkhauser is a nice little ball player. He's very scrappy. And I'll tell you what, we'll see some base running here tonight. I think he's going to challenge the Caldwell's arm to see how well he can throw. And I don't know if Tom's going to come out bunting, but they are free swingers, so they'll be aggressive at the plate.
There is Tom Pyle in his 13th year. He's also been a football coach, but his dream has always been to be a basketball coach, even though he has been known to lock referees in their locker room and throw coats like Bobby Knight throws chairs. And he's a wild one, but he is, as you said on the pregame show, Mike, a guy that balances praise with motivation coming from the hard part of the year. As we look at John Drost, the right fielder, in the left-hand hitter's box against Tim Ciesley. Bunts away and out in front of the plate. Cardwell, the catcher, will field and go to first. So the sacrifice bunt moves Funkhauser over to second base.
Excellent execution here on the bunt. If you see, he squares around, he gets the ball out in front of the plate. It takes a high hop. It must hit off the plate, giving the guys plenty of time to get down to second base. So a nice sacrifice by Drost.
That'll bring designated hitter and All-American pitcher Tom Price. Price has, of course, been their stud on the mound this year, going 13-0, including the win here in the semifinal game against Simeon of Chicago. The kick and delivery, and he slices this one foul down the line and out of play beyond the home team dugout. Tim Ciesley was the East Suburban Catholic Conference Player of the Year. And that means something not only to him, but people at Carmel Mundelein, where their highly touted pitcher Eric Maloney, third-round choice of the Chicago White Sox in the recent June amateur draft, finished runner-up. So that gives you an idea of the all-around player of Tim Ciesley. Of course, Joliet Catholic and Edwardsville have two other things in common. Maniac fans. Many have come out in their orange and dark blue colors of Edwardsville, and as is the case with the brown and gold of Joliet Catholic.
All the moms have Mama Tigers on the front of their T-shirts for Edwardsville. It's kind of interesting shirts to see the fans wearing.
The 2-1 delivery, a swing and a miss, evens the count at 2-2.
Price today went 2 for 4 in the first game in the semifinals this morning, and he hits everything pretty much up the middle. I charted the hitters today, and we see that he hit 4 balls back up the middle.
Ciesley on the 2-2 delivery, a swing and a miss, and he gets him on the inside corner. Strikeout number 1 of the game, and with 2 away and a man on second base, the cleanup hitter, Mark Little, will come into the order.
Mark's a fine hitter. He was 3 for 4 today, hit everything between short and third, and let's see how they're going to play him.
Not only is Mark hitting .413 on the year, he also is one of the leading RBI hitters on the team at 34 and leads the ball club in homers with 8. So he's got some punch in that bat.
He's a nice looking hitter. He's been their mainstay. pretty steady ball player throughout the whole season.
Looks at a curveball, comes up high. Tim Ciesla, the senior right-hander on the hill for Joliet Catholic. And he gets him inside, and that is one thing Ciesla has a tendency of doing, and successfully this year, Mike. And as you know, from a coach's standpoint, anyone who can throw 4 pitches like Ciesla can, with a fastball in the 80s, a overhand curveball, which he actually calls a slurve, a bit of a straight change, and a curveball. This is a kid that can mix up speeds, and that has been his biggest effectiveness this year. He went 7-0 last year with a 1.03 ERA last season, and as coaches say, Leo Mahalik, they call him the pitching guru at Joliet Catholic, worked with him during the offseason, says his confidence in his pitches are 100% better than last season. They go for the pickoff out in the center field, but Dave English backs it up in a hurry, and no play.
You know, as you're talking about Ciesla as a pitcher, that first pitch, the first strike he threw in there on the inside corner, you're going to have to do that as a pitcher, as a challenge the hitters on the inside to keep them off the plate, and then you can work your pitches outside and away, and you know, for the third strike, you know, try to get them fish for the bad, you know, outside pitch.
The 2-1 delivery, and it's up high, evens the count. Check that, goes 3-1 on the count. In fact, Ciesla has a pretty good pickoff move out on the mound. In fact, he picked off an Oak Park runner off third base in the semifinal game. That was a turning point in that 3-2 Hilltopper win. Fouled it off behind the screen. The count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs in the top of the first. No score in our Class AA baseball championship from Springfield. It has been threatening rain most of the day, but the sun has been out primarily most of the day until the evening.
It was very humid this afternoon and early this morning, or late this morning. And now you wouldn't tell the sun's ever out.
Deep fly ball to right field, but under it is Petak, and he makes the catch to end the inning. For the Tigers, no runs, no hits, no errors, and a man left. We go to the bottom of the first. No scores. The Hilltoppers come in for their first at-bat. We go to the bottom of the first inning here at a scoreless Class AA baseball championship. Let's take a look at the lineups quickly here for the Hilltoppers of Joliet. 25-5 coming in, and they lead off with their shortstop, Todd Fitzgerald, followed by the second baseman, Chignoli. Ciesla, the pitcher, will bat third, and the catcher, Cardwell, batting in the cleanup spot. Franceschi, the senior third baseman, will bat fifth, followed by the right fielder, Petak. Churok, who has played DH a lot this year, out in left field and batting his familiar 7th spot. Brent McGraw, the big first baseman, will bat eighth, and Dave English, the speedy center fielder, will close it out in the 9th position. On the mound is Mark Little, 3-1 on the year for the Tigers of Edwardsville with a 2.78 ERA in 22 2/3 innings pitched this year in 8 appearances previous to this. He's given up 16 hits, 9 earned runs, has walked only 10 batters, and has struck out 23. And you talk with Coach Waldo, the assistant coach, about the pitches. We'll talk about that in a moment, Mike, as we look at the defense for the Edwardsville Tigers. First off, the infield from third to first. Dave Slemmer, the hot corner. Out at short is Tim Funkhauser. The second baseman, Steve Flowers. And at first base is Greg Morrison. Out and left is Matt Hall, who will not bat. The DH taking his place here today. The center fielder, Cameron Turner, a sophomore. And out in right field is John Druggs.
Mark Little is a fine young pitcher. He's, like I say, he hasn't pitched as much as Blassingame or Price, but they compare him to Price. He's got a good fastball. That's his out pitch. He has a nice curveball, overhand curveball. He has a slider and an off-speed pitch. But they consider his fastball his out pitch, and I think you're going to see that tonight. He's pretty fresh. He hasn't pitched in the whole tournament, so he's coming in here with a very live arm.
And he is pitching to veteran J.J. Sherba behind the plate. And here's the first pitch to the Hilltopper batters. Leadoff hitter, Todd Fitzgerald. 369 hitter.
I was going to say, Fitzgerald this morning was 2 for 3 and a single and a triple.
Joe Rodriguero, in his first year as head coach of the Hilltoppers after assisting at Providence New Lenox High School for 10 years as an underclassman baseball and football coach. So he has been around for quite a while. The 2-0 count to Fitzgerald, who is also the starting quarterback on the playoff Hilltopper football team, a football team that has won 5 state championships in its history. Of course, Joliet Catholic for years has been known for their football program, but also for their basketball and baseball program. This man, Dan McCarthy, 14 years he's been the assistant baseball coach, formerly to Jack Szymanski, and his number 26 has been placed on all the spikes of the players this year, because this will be Danny's last year with the merge of Joliet Catholic School for Boys and St. Francis Academy School for Girls in Joliet into one school next year. Danny McCarthy fought and lost to the numbers game and teachers needed, and is currently looking for a job.
I know how that is, because I lost my assistant the year we won state. He was riffed out when we had to make some cutbacks in our teaching.
A swing and a miss, a 2-2 delivery, goes down swinging, and Fitzgerald, and strikeout number 1 for Little. Here's a look at that fastball, and if it comes in high, just switch past the batter.
He just overpowered him right there. And he came up on that high fastball, and he got a little anxious at the plate and didn't make contact.
Well, here is Mark Chignoli, the second baseman, and although just a little guy, he has packed a powerhouse hitter as he fouls it off behind home plate and out of play. In fact, Chignoli is the home run leader on this ball club, which is not really a home run hitting ball club. He's got 4 homers on the year, including the one he hit in the quarterfinal game the other day in the victory over Loves Park Harlem.
He has some good speed going to first base today. He had a sacrifice bunt to the first baseman, and he made it down the line in 4-0, and that's pretty good time from the right side.
And he hits a shot to the shortstop. Has trouble getting out of his glove, but Chignoli thrown out at first, and that's 2 away. So Chignoli goes down on a hard ball to the shortstop, and Tim Ciesla comes up. Another look at that hard fastball. Watch the shortstop here, Mike. The boy really recovers well.
Yes, he bobbled the ball a little bit, but like you say, he made the recovery in time and had a nice throw over to first base right on the money.
And that's the Funkhauser kid, son of former Edwardsville head coach Bill Funkhauser. Here's Tim Ciesla, pitcher facing pitcher here, as a curveball just misses on the inside corner of the plate.
That was a nice pitch. That looked pretty good. I think they had him fooled.
A .411 hitter coming into the tournament. Ciesla has been solid everywhere he goes, whether he's on the mound, out in left field, or at the plate. And that's why he's been named among other awards, All-Conference, of course, Player of the Year in the ESCC, Daily Southtown Economist newspaper All-Area Player, and Joliet Herald News All-Area, and he'll certainly should notch up the same with the Sun-Times and Tribune of Chicago. Swing and a miss, foul tipped it off, and the count goes 1-2. So a big advantage already. Little is getting on the hitters, and then, of course, he's getting ahead of the hitters.
He's working ahead. He's throwing balls in there for strikes, and that's what you have to do with pitching. You can't pitch from behind, because then you got to come back and play the game with the hitters, and the hitters are just waiting on the fastball coming in. So as long as you stay ahead, you're doing fine.
Inside, and it evens the count. 2s across the top of the scoreboard beyond the left field fence here at beautiful Robin Roberts Stadium at Landfair Park in Springfield. Later on, the telecast will get a look at this ballpark, and it is really a beautiful ballpark, the home of the Class A Springfield Cardinals of the Midwest League. They're on the road, of course, this week, as they always are at this time of the year. Back on their Iowa swing this week.
This is a nice ballpark. The measurements are nice, and they keep the field in pretty good shape. I noticed that the balls were taking some bad hops in the infield because of we have had a lot of rain, and by covering it, you keep the water off. When it gets dry, it gets hard, and you start seeing some bad hops.
3-2 delivery, and this hop goes right into the second baseman's glove, and Steve Flowers makes the play. Ciesla is out, and the Hilltoppers go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the first. No score in the Class AA baseball final from Springfield. Edwardsville coming up. The broadcast rights to tonight's Class AA baseball final have been granted to Sports Channel by the IHSA. Any reproduction or rebroadcast of this event without the written consent of Sports Channel and the IHSA is prohibited, but it's never prohibited to have beauties out at the ballpark. That is part of the All-American game. And as we go to the top of the second, here at Robin Roberts Stadium in Springfield, no score of this ball game between Edwardsville and Joliet Catholic. Hilltoppers going down 1-2-3. Edwardsville getting a runner aboard on a walk, but no score. Leading off the top of the second is the catcher, J.J. Sherba, .368 hitter, 4 home runs, and 31 RBIs.
He's a nice catcher. In the ball game earlier today, he made a lot of nice plays to
you know, to keep them in the ball game and keep them on top.
In fact, one of the aspects of this ball club that Coach Pyle told us about his Edwardsville team, he feels Sherba maybe one of the best catchers in the St. Louis area, and that's saying a mouthful. And it's interesting that Coach Rodagero feels the same about his Mike Cardwell.
Well, I think we have two good catchers in this ball game, and if the running game is going to be a factor, it's going to be a tough decision when we start throwing, you know, the ball to second base and try to throw a runner out. I think you're going to see probably a lot of runners thrown out.
Well, there's Coach Pyle. He's a Vietnam vet, and he tells his players that when we go to the game, we are going into a battle. We are going to war. And that glove on his left hand is just part of the many superstitions that the colorful Coach Pyle has and takes with him to every ball game. But I guess it's pretty tough to argue with this guy's success, because in the last 4 years, this ball club has just been tremendous.
They've won over 20 games each season in those 4 years' times, and it's just been very outstanding ball clubs, very disciplined players.
Long throw by Brancheski, and Curly McGraw digs it out of the dirt for the Hillman, and that's one away. Brancheski has to make a long throw. Brancheski's a kid who would have been a pitcher this year for Joliet Catholic, but he can't really throw overhand all that well, although he looks like a pitcher. That's because he would have been a pitcher, but he's had strained muscle ligaments in that shoulder. But he has made a tremendous third baseman for them all season long, and obviously they haven't hurt by his absence from the mound, or they wouldn't be in this championship game here tonight. Here's Greg Morrison, the first baseman for the Tigers.
He was 1 for 2 this morning in the ball game. He had a single, and he grounded out to the second baseman, walked twice during that ball game.
Another one of the 400 hitters on this ball club, batting .412 with 36 RBIs and 3 home runs. Joliet Catholic in their final season as an all-boys school. It's been an emotional issue in the Joliet area for alumni and current students and staff at that school. There's a little grounder, and Brancheski was playing him shallow, plays it perfectly, and the 5-3 put out for 2 assists this inning for the Hilltopper third baseman, and Greg Morrison goes down for the second out.
When you have a left-handed hitter up like that, your third baseman will play in and off the line a little bit and makes it a routine play. How do you say his name again?
Brancheski.
Brancheski. The pitcher, when he threw that ball in there, you know, he jammed the hitter. He didn't get the bat or barrel through, and therefore, you know, the ball is off the opposite field.
Here's the second baseman for the Tigers, Steve Flowers, and he looks at some heat on the outside corner for called strike one. Flowers batting .412. Three home runs on the year. And he hits one right up the middle. Fitzgerald will not get to it, and English fields it out on center. And the first base hit of the ball game off the bat of the Tigers' second baseman, Steve Flowers.
All he does is just takes the ball right back up the middle. The ball was a little bit on the outside part of the plate, but he took it right back up the middle for the base hit.
Well, here's an opportunity that we're going to get here, possibly, is the runner against the catcher and pitcher in this case, as we look at Dave Slemmer, the third baseman, stepping into the box for Edwardsville. Edwardsville stole 15 bases in the semifinal game over Chicago Simeon, an IHSA state finals record. And in one inning, in fact, in the third inning, they stole 8 times.
I know it.
Check that, 6 times in one inning.
They're very good base runners. I don't know if he will steal in this situation. You have number 8 hitter up. Depending on how he sets his lineup up, you know, if this was the number 9 hitter, I know he definitely would not steal. You'd want to give your 9 hitter a chance to hit and lead off with your number 1 hitter the next inning.
Well, again, that's just an offshoot of the aggressive personality of its coach, and there's a strike call to bring the count to 2-1. 2 outs in the top half of the second inning. The Tigers of Edwardsville. Well, what a ball club. And they're an independent, too, and that always means you're playing a tougher schedule. You're traveling a lot, but this school just keeps coming back. Their 4th appearance in the state finals, 2nd in the last 3 years. In fact, Edwardsville in the last 4 years has pushed a record of 122 wins and only 24 losses. And there is a shot that could be trouble in the hole in right center. Second baseman Mark Cignoli goes out and says, no trouble for me. And that's the put out, and that ends the inning. In the top of the second for the Tigers, no runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left the board. We go to the bottom of the second. Still no score from Springfield. Well, welcome back to Springfield on a windy, humid night as the Class AA baseball finals gets into play here. No scores. We go to the bottom of the second. The IHSA uses the Rawlings baseball in the state tournament. A lot of high schools like Mike McDonald and Morton use different baseballs.
We use the Diamond D1 Pro normally. It's a little higher seam ball. You get a little better grip and able to throw the curveball a little better, where this ball here is a little flatter seam, and it takes a little more concentration, a little more pull to get the snap on the ball. Heartbeat Diamond 1 baseballs didn't come in this year, but we ended up going to this ball, and it proved out to be a pretty nice ball. It's a little tighter wound ball. I think you get a little better jump off the bat, and I think the ball's a little livelier.
So basically the only difference between the ball we've just had in our hand and the one used in the major leagues is the stamp of approval by the major leagues, the National League or the American League, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, the American National League use an RON and an ROA ball, which, like you said, is a little tighter wound ball with a little flatter seam as compared to some of the balls that the high schools use. And a lot of coaches use the diamond ball, but otherwise the CHS, which is the college high school baseball.
Well, here's Mike Cardwell, the Hilltopper catcher, and he hits one hard back to the shortstop, Funkhauser, but he finds a place for it over at first base, and that's an easy 6-3 put out. One away in the bottom of the second. Hilltoppers still looking for their first hit, but I'll tell you, this has been the mark of the Edwardsville Ball Club. Good defense.
Funkhauser is a real nice shortstop. This is his third year on the varsity. Started as a sophomore, and he's a very steady, consistent player. And like you said earlier, his dad was the former coach for Edwardsville.
Talked to his dad out at the hotel the afternoon prior to this game, and well, I'll tell you, he looked awfully relaxed, not having to manage in the game as he did in 1980 when his ball club was here.
It's tough coaching your own son, trying to coach your own son in the ball game, and there's a lot of pressure there.
It won't be long before you'll have an opportunity to do that with yours. I believe your hitter's 15. Your son is 15 years old as Brett Brencheski, the third baseman, fouls it off to go 1-1.
Yeah, my boy's a freshman in high school this year, and he played, freshman baseball, and I'm looking forward to the day that he can play varsity.
Swing and a miss, and there is the occasional curveball used by Little that comes in there and drops down off the plate. As he's taking his hat off, you can see there's very little hair behind those ears, and we'll have a story about that one too on this Edwardsville team. All the players have very little hair, and the coaches included, including Tom Pyle.
I think that was part of the deal if they won the sectional, was it not?
Right.
To get the haircuts, and like you're saying, they are awful short.
They tried to do it last year on Coach Pyle, but he wouldn't go for it. This year, he went with it. He looks like he's back in the Army again. Brencheski with a 2-2 count and one out here in the bottom of the second. No score still. And he flies this one slicing off foul to the right side and out of play. Count remains 2-2 with Mike Petak, the right fielder, in the on-deck circle.
He dropped his top hand on that swing a little bit, and he got underneath the ball, and that's why he fouled it off. If he can keep that top hand on top, he'll hopefully get a base hit here. Let's see what he does.
Right back to the pitcher, a comebacker fielded well by the quick glove of Mark Little, and Little throws out Brencheski on the comebacker.
There's the ball again. It was down a little bit, and his top hand was just a little bit down, but he didn't catch the ball solid, and right back to the pitcher and made a nice play to first base.
So Little will now face the Hilltopper right fielder Mike Petak. .348 hitter with 13 RBIs as he looks at a strike one. Petak has been their starting right field most of the year. That's one thing about Joliet Catholic. They have stayed with a pretty steadfast starting lineup, and the same can be said about Edwardsville, except for just a couple of players in their order.
It is a pretty, pretty steady lineup, like you say. They've played this way all year. At least they know everybody real well, how each other play, and therefore, you're not going to make as many mistakes in a ball game. Where if you're switching lineups around all the time, then you're not familiar with that player at that position. And it's especially important in the middle part of the infield, double plays and things of that nature.
And it seems to also gel together a very consistent defense. The players, even though in a sport like this, as Coach Rodriguez knows, Joliet Catholic has played good defense together this year. The kids know where they're playing and know what room they have to work with. The 2-1 delivery is down and away for ball 3.
Edwardsville just changed their defense in their outfield. They just shifted over to play this young man to hit to the opposite field. So let's see, what their scouting reports show.
Well, this is a hittable pitch. It should be at 3-1, and he swings and misses a good cut, but fails away. Bring the count, full count to 3 balls and 2 strikes. In fact, such a long inning, Tim Cecil down the left field line is warming up his arm rather than just sit in the dugout. Been thrown casually down there. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 2 for Mark Little, and for the second inning in a row, he puts the Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers down 1-2-3. As we go to the top of the 3rd inning here at Robin Roberts Stadium in Springfield, Illinois, site of the Class AA Baseball Championships. Joe Passion along with Mike McDonald, and no score here in our game between Edwardsville and Joliet Catholic. Edwardsville pitcher Mark Little has mowed down 6 Hilltopper batters in a row, and now it is time for Cameron Turner, the center fielder. This young man is making his final varsity start today, his 3rd varsity start ever, his 3rd varsity start in a row. He did not start a varsity game for Coach Pyle until the day before this one. He started the quarterfinal game and the semifinal, and is starting here. It's a good grounder. Could be a tough call, but he's out of there. A nice play by the shortstop Fitzgerald on Turner, and a good glove over at first by McGraw.
That was an exceptional play. He had had a high hopper, and he picked it up on a short hop right here, and he stays down on it, comes up and makes a nice play over first base, and gets him just by about a stride.
So here's the leadoff hitter, Tim Funkhauser, who walked his last time up, was left stranded at second base, and he squares the bunt, pulls back, called strike 1. The reason why Turner has gotten 3 starts in a row is because their usual starting center fielder, actually their starting left fielder, Todd Plucker, is in Spain in Europe on an academic trip. I guess that's what you call about a kid putting priorities in the place where he wants them.
Well, that's always tough when it's education, comes in a situation where he's got an opportunity to go overseas, like you're saying, he's got to make a choice, and it's tough. And you got 13 ball players, 14 ball players here that you got to be concerned about.
Deep fly ball down the line. This one will go foul. Excuse me, Mike. I thought this one was going to take off for the tennis courts beyond the left field fence. It is 3:20 down the line here at Robin Roberts Stadium. 3:50 to left and right field. 375 in the power alley. You see the tennis courts just beyond the left field fence. 375 way out there in the power alleys, and 415 is straightaway center field.
It's a big park, but he did turn on that one, but he pulled it a little bit foul, and if it had stayed fair, it'd probably been a couple, an extra base hit, for sure a double, but I don't know if he could have got the 3rd. But this is a nice little ball player, good hitter.
The 2-2 delivery, and he hits another deep fly ball to left field. Back with his heels about 4 feet from the warning track, and making the catch is Surzak. Churak really came through. In fact, a big day for Brian Churak, the left fielder. With that catch, he also celebrated his 18th birthday today. Here's another good pitch in the wheelhouse, and Brian Churak, who has really played sparingly in left field.
He did a nice job. If you noticed on that, he turned and he went back, and then he positioned himself to come in, and be in front of the ball. Whereas a lot of kids will just kind of drift on the ball as it goes, carries out to the outfield, and Sometimes the ball gets over their head, or they bobble the ball, they miss the ball. But he turned, he went back, he got in position, turned around, and made the catch.
Here's John Droz, the right fielder for Edwardsville. The Moto Marauders, they call their head coach, Tom Pyle, Moto. And the ball gets away behind the cage. It's partially because of his build and his up-tempo personality. And the Marauders, because this is a ball club that steals a lot of bases, as the example. There's Moto down there chirping out with the umpires.
And he talks with them, too. He coincides with them a little bit, and he butters them up pretty good. The first time up tonight, Droz sacrifice bunt and advanced Funkhauser to second. It's always nice to have a left-handed hitter in the number 2 slot for your number 1 hitter when he gets on. That way, give him the opportunity to steal.
Well, there's a base on balls, and Cecilo gives up to Droz.
You might see something here.
Cecilo has given up 2 walks now, and this is his 3rd base runner that he's had to worry about, while Tom Price, the designated hitter, comes up. He struck out his last time at bat. Ball inside, goes to 1-0. Or actually, it looked like apparently a little bit high. Cecilo asking the umpire, Bob Steves of Woodridge, if that was called the ball. Because it was high, he agreed. So let's see if the Marauders are going to be motoing down the way, and this one back up into the stands off to our left. We're situated high up above, behind home plate. Great view of this beautiful ballpark.
There's a good shot of the helmet. If you notice, the front of the helmet's got eyes on it. Maybe that helps them hit a little better. I don't know. Might have paid off. They hit 370 as a team.
I'll tell you, maybe they do have, instead of eyes behind their heads, eyes on their helmets. This is going to be trouble down the line, and it will drop foul. Churak came hard, but Tom Price will come back and get another chance at the plate. And back to the second will be John Droz. Edwardsville got here to the tournament via the Edwardsville Regional, where they beat East Alton and Jerseyville by scores of 12-0 and 4-0. Then their 3rd shutout in a row opened their sectional win at Granite City over Highland, 1-0. Then they blew out an excellent Belleville West team in 5 innings, 11-1 in the sectional championship. Advanced on with another shutout, 3-0 in the quarterfinals over Champaign Centennial, and then their 8-1 semifinal win here over Chicago Simeon. By the way, that 3rd place game, 4-3 Oak Park River Forest over Chicago Simeon. And there is a pop-up again foul. The runner was going.
Well, maybe we're going to start to see, I think they're going to have to challenge the catcher to see if he can throw, see what they're working with, in this situation with these 2 ball clubs. We've got 2 fine catchers, and both teams like to run. So they're going to have to, at some point tonight, see if that catcher can throw them out.
The delivery, a swing and a miss, a big strikeout for Tim Cecilo over Tom Price. Strikeout number 2 for Cecilo. No runs again for Edwardsville. As we go to the bottom of the 3rd, still no score. And what a big win for Oak Park River Forest and Coach Jack Kaiser, who's been around forever. His team won the 3rd place trophy. And Simeon of Chicago, the Chicago Public League champion, brought their colorful game and their colorful uniforms in to capture the 4th place title. We'll be back for the big one in just a moment. As we open up the bottom of the 3rd, it is the birthday boy on his 18th birthday. Brian Churak steps into the plate for the Hilltoppers. The left fielder made a nice play, and he hits one up the middle. Shortstop, Funkhauser's there. Nice quick throw.
That was a nice play. Again, I mentioned earlier this evening that the fact that the field has been covered most of the time during all this rain we've had, and because of that, the ground is hard. Now you watch this next hop here. He'll take a big high hop there. It came up kind of hard and quick, but yet Funkhauser made a nice play.
Funkhauser is Tom Pyle's kind of a player because he's always got his uniform dirty. Well, here is Brent Curly McGraw. He's just a junior, the first baseman. and he swings and misses. He's had the hottest bat in the Hilltopper order the last couple of weeks. In fact, went on prior to the regional. They call him Curly a lot because of his build. He doesn't have much hair under that helmet. But I'll tell you, he has been no stooge at the plate for the Hilltoppers, much less out on the field. He has really been a big, big plus for them. And hitting in the number 8 spot, followed by a speedster.
I think
it's been a powerful punch for them in the bottom of the order.
He tried to hold up on the swing there. The ball came inside, ran inside on him, and they tried to check swing and about hit the coach sitting down there in the third base dugout.
Curley was once the bat boy for Joliet Catholic High School when he was just a child. He carried the lumber. The last month or so, he has been carrying the lumber in another manner of speaking, even if it is aluminum. And there is the curveball, drops right over and takes Curley out of the play with strikeout number 3 for the pitcher Little.
Well, it's a nice overhand curveball. The ball broke right down into the strike zone, and I don't think he was looking curved. He had him fooled all the way.
That'll bring up for the Hilltoppers Dave English, the center fielder, with 2 outs, as Mark Little continues to mow down Joliet Catholic. This is very similar to their quarterfinal matchup in 1988 when Adam Lynn was on the mound for Edwardsville and mowed down Joliet Catholic 4-0.
You know, we talked to Coach Pyle today, and you know, we asked him what he thought this game was going to be, either a high-scoring or low-scoring game, and he thought it was going to be a high-scoring game.
Well, here's another ground ball as Little continues to keep the ball low against the hitters. And for the 3rd inning in a row, Joliet Catholic goes down 1-2-3. No score as we go to the 4th.
Quick.
We go to the top of the 4th, and everybody's eyes are on the ballpark today as a scoreless game here in the 4th, with the #1 fan club of Edwardsville looking at their ball club as they come up in the top of the 4th. And Mark Little, the cleanup hitter, will lead it off for the Tigers, followed by Sherba and Morrison. Tim Ciesla on the hill for Joliet Catholic, and a little chopper to short. Fitzgerald, it seemed as though Fitz held up a moment thinking the third baseman might charge over and take it. That hesitation gets Little on first base.
He handcuffs himself a little bit on this play.
Here's another look, and he gets over there and just doesn't get down on the ball. But
and these are the little things that make the difference in a ball game. Here we got a runner on first base, no outs. Could be a bunt situation right here.
So here's J.J. Sherba. Grounded out his last time up. Both pitchers have kept the ball fairly low down on the ground, with the exception of 2 fly balls that Edwardsville has hit. One very deep to left field, one to right.
Sherba showed bunt earlier today. Looked like he might have had an idea to do that there here.
He backed off as the third baseman and first baseman were charging on the pitch. 1-0 the count. There's the runner with the big lead off first base. Throw over. Little is back in time. Sherba is described by his coach as a hard-nosed kid, a kid who will go the extra mile to excel. And he has proven that this season again. Third baseman charging, backs off in the bunt. There goes the runner. The throw is off in the center field. The runner will hold. Gets away from the center fielder English for just a moment, but by then the runner had already made up his mind not to move on to third.
He fakes the bunt here. He draws the bat back. As you watch it throw, it's a little bit wide left, and the shortstop can't get to it. And then it ricochets off the center fielder's leg, and fortunately for Joliet, he wasn't trying to pick up third on that.
So with Mark Little over at second base, no outs, and the corner is open, Sherba will look at a 1-1 count. Mike Cardwell, who is an outstanding thrower, is thinking certainly about that poor throw, and he apparently will get plenty of chances against the Moto Marauders here in this ball game today. And this one slices deep to right field. Should be fair down the line, just fouled by a foot or two. A great effort by Petak to get to the ball, but just wasn't able to catch up to it. So Little goes back over to second base, and Sherba comes back to the plate.
Here, as you see the pitch, it's outside. It's a breaking ball, the outside part of the plate. He tries to go with it, but just misses by about 3-4 feet.
The racket in the grandstands are many people coming out of the grandstands up higher underneath the upper deck tarp because the rain has begun to come down, although very lightly. Many umbrellas now coming out of the grandstands, and the 1-2 count from pitcher to hitter. Low evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Little this morning had 3 stolen bases in that ball game against Simeon.
The 2-2 count is low and away, and it's a full count. 3-2 with no outs. A runner at second. Coach Pyle looking down around at what he's got out there, and right now he's got to be looking pretty good. No double play possibility unless a line drive, but he takes the ball and will go to first. So now Edwardsville will have 2 runners aboard, and they have been prone to double steal. It is not out of the question.
They did that 2 or 3 times today.
The first baseman, Greg Morrison, who has hit 7 out of the ballpark this year, wipes off the humidity from his face and gets ready to come on in as he looks down the line at his coach, Tom Pyle.
I think you mentioned earlier he has 36 RBIs. Is that right? In the season?
35 RBIs coming into the tournament for Morrison. And there goes the double steal and the bunt. Looking to third, and Cardwell will have to go to first. Everybody on the diamond was moving.
This was excellent bunt defense. We'll get a replay on this. What they do with this is they charge the third baseman, and the shortstop breaks and covers third. The catcher comes out real well, Caldwell, and he looks, and I thought maybe he might have had a play at third base, but he decided to go to first and get the sure out.
Both runners had broken with the pitch, and Morrison and Little moved to second and third. First base is open, and so is the bunt situation. The hitter, Steve Flowers, the second baseman, got the first hit of the ball game. In fact, the only hit of the ball game. In his last at bat in the second, a clean single.
Coach Pyle said earlier today that you know, he would do anything to try to score runs, and you know, he would go to the bunting game, and he felt very confident in his bunting game too.
Little chopper back to the mound. They got a man off third to throw, and he's out at third base.
Good play by his pitcher. Excellent.
Little thrown out at third base. He was streaking for home, tried to get back, but he was off balance. Heads up play by Timmy Ciesla.
Ciesla makes a nice play here. The man on third base just got a little bit anxious. On that play there, you're probably telling your runner to score on any ball hit in the infield except to the pitcher, and he probably read that ball was going to go to the shortstop and got caught off, and Ciesla made a nice throw to the third base.
So now with 2 outs, Ciesla trying to get out of a jam with 2 runners aboard. Dave Slemmer, the third baseman, looks at a fastball on the outside black of the plate. Coming up in the 4th, the top of the order for Joliet Catholic. Slemmer batting .337 on the year. Check that, .344 on the year with 20 RBIs. 1 home run. Up and down the lineup, no weak links. You might say that about Turner, who's only started 3 games this year, but in those 3, 2 previous games here in this tournament, he's played well. He's on deck.
Yes, I think the whole lineup, Turner's the only one that is not hitting over 300, and I think, you know, like you're saying, he hasn't started very much and hasn't had a whole lot of playing time. Therefore, you know, his batting average isn't going to be respectable as the others. But he is a good hitter. He is, like I said, he's performed well in this tournament.
The 0-2 delivery up high for a ball, 1-2. 2 outs. Edwardsville runners at first and second base. No score in the top of the 4th. Well, the unfortunate hazard of the rain as the Springfield Municipal Band is packing up and leaving as the ball is popped up out of play into the Edwardsville side. One-handed grab by a fan, and he gets applause from the rest of his group out there. Cecil really working hard. You can see the sweat dripping off the top of his nose there. It is very humid here on this evening.
Look at his t-shirt. His t-shirt is soaking wet.
It was a light gray when he started out. Big 1-2 delivery. And a ground ball. Third baseman will get it. Will go to second for the force out in a tight play, but it works. And the Hilltoppers get out of the jam. No runs on no hits and air, and 2 men left aboard. We go to the bottom of the 4th as Coach Pyle wonders what's going on out there. I had a chance to score, but still no score here in Springfield. A blustery evening in Springfield, Illinois, here at Robin Roberts Stadium at Lanphier Park for the Class AA Baseball Championships. No score as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Out on the hill are the Edwardsville Tigers. In the stands are the fans, and coming up to the plate are the Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers, who have yet to get a hit today as we go with the top of their order, Todd Fitzgerald. He struck out his last time up for 2-0. Mark Little, though, has been doing the job out on the mound for Edwardsville. Fitzgerald who was an honorable mention all-area and all-conference as a junior, made all-conference as a senior, and he bunts one down, trying to get something going for the Hillmen, and he does. Ball gets away, but down the line was Fitzgerald, and so he's there. A good effort by the pitcher, but with the slight rain we had last inning, well, you saw what happened a little.
As he went to plant, as he goes to field this ball, he tries to hold up and plant his feet, and his feet go out right out from underneath him.
Well, Coach, can I say it now?
You can say it now.
Fitzgerald just busted up Mark Little's no-hitter.
And perfect game.
You got to tell that story real quick.
Last year in a state championship game, there was a no-hitter going, and Joe said here, through 5 innings, I think, and then Joe made a comment, said, it's a no-hitter in this ball game, and what happened, the next hitter got a base hit to break up the no-hitter.
And Mac hasn't let me forget that since. Here's Mark Chignoli coming to the plate as Fitzgerald leads off first base. Throw back over, and the runner is back in time. Chignoli, who is one of the many characters on the Joliet Catholic team, vying for a scholarship in baseball, but also plays a lot of golf and tennis, and keeps things loose among his teammates with his sense of humor and his enthusiasm as a player.
Real nice move to first base.
He's a senior out of Manuka, Illinois. The first pitch, and he squares away for the bunt down the first base line. He's going to go down hustling, and running that play to perfection was the pitcher Little, and Chignoli also bunted to perfection, moving Fitzgerald over to second base.
You know, you practice a lot of this in preseason in the gym, and when you get outside, the first baseman and pitcher working together on the ball, hit to the first baseman, and you know, the pitcher coming to the line, running down, and the flip to him. I tell you what, a lot of ball games are lost right there on that play alone.
So here is pitcher against pitcher, Tim Ciesla, who not only was the conference player of the year, is also on the B honor roll as a student.
Ciesla hits pretty much up the middle. About where your second baseman and shortstop are playing in through there. He showed that a lot in the first game today.
His coach calls Ciesla the bulldog of the team. In fact, he is not only one of the co-captains, but without question one of the more competitive ball players on this very competitive Hilltopper team. Tim Ciesla, senior. Runner at second, one out. Corners are open. The 1-0 delivery. In the dirt, 2-0.
Nice stop. Real nice stop.
And on deck is a player who can hit away the opposite way in the right center as Sherba, the catcher, looks over. Edwardsville will call a lot of their pitches from the dugout, which is why you saw the catcher looking over toward his dugout along the first base line. The 2-0 delivery from Little, outside, missing, ball 3. The line, and it's a very quick look with a 3-0 count and no score and a runner at second.
We have 2 coaches over there giving signs at the same time, so one is a decoy, of course.
There's the fastball for a strike 1. Cecil has had some key hits. Not only was the winning pitcher in the regional final, also key to big rally is Danny McCarthy, the assistant coach down the first base line, keeping tabs for the runner Fitzgerald at second base. 3-1. No, they're going to go over there, or at least fake the effort, letting Fitz know that they know he's there. Toughest pickoff move is at second base, would you say, Mike?
Yes, that's the hardest one to do because you've got 2 possibilities of.
There's a shot to the third baseman. Runner holds the throw down the line, and he's out at first. Throw back over to second, and Fitzgerald is back, and that'll be 2 away.
As I started to say, you know, when you're throwing a second, you can either reverse spin or run out. Let's look at this replay here.
Cecil went out after it, and the third baseman did a nice job of holding the runner. Then Slemmer makes the good throw.
Right, the third baseman has to check the runner, holding back in, you know, at second base, and then make the long throw across the diamond. And he's got to make a hard throw because the runner could advance very quickly to third base on that play. But he did a great execution on the defense.
Dave Slemmer over at third base in the hot corner, and he shows he can handle that well. Mike Cardwell slices one foul down the line and out of play on the right side.
He hit the ball to shortstop last inning, or excuse me, last time up.
Cardwell, another one of the Bulldogs on this ball club, is a business accounting major in minor, and also an outstanding football player for the Hilltoppers playoff teams of the last 2 years. 2 outs with a runner at second. The delivery and is in the dirt, but Sherba is right there to dig it out, and Fitz holds with a little bit of a guard from both sides.
Well, I tell you, catchers are worth their price in gold. I'll tell you, the way they can, you know, block the ball, and that saves a lot of runners from advancing into better scoring position. That play could happen to, you know, if the runner at third base and get by the catcher and score, could be eventually a winning run.
Pyle talks about his players going out the battle. Little looks like he's been in and out of one. The delivery, low, ball 2, 2-1.
Well, I know Coach Pyle said today that when he walked in the ballpark after Joliet had won, and he ran into him and saw that.
In fact, he talked to Cardwell, the catcher.
Cardwell, right, and he said because he was so dirty, he says, "I like, you know, good game."
I've never met you, kid, but I like your style. With anyone with a dirty uniform is my kind of player.
That's right.
And he is hit on the thigh and will get first base. So if Cardwell doesn't get his uniform dirty enough, he gets it nicked here and will move on to first base to put 2 runners aboard with 2 outs.
Like a breaking ball inside, but it didn't really, it just hung there. There's a good look at his uniform.
I'll tell you, again, he looks like he's been in combat, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's been in a foxhole.
Well, that's the kind of a guy that Tom Pyle likes to have alongside him in a foxhole. And he's been doing the job thus far on the mound, giving up just 1 hit. And a shot down the line. It is foul by about 5 feet. Franceschi gave that ball a ride down the left field line, but the runners return back to their bases.
He gets the barrel of the bat out in front on this play and pulls that ball right down the line. Nice swing, nice stroke. But like you said, just foul.
Franceschi, not only a football player, was the student council vice president. So he's all over the schoolyard and the ball field, whatever it takes.
Academics and athletics.
With 2 runners aboard and 2 outs, the 0-1 delivery evens the count at 1-1. Edwardsville wanted that pitch.
That was real cool. That's a tough one to sit back and take.
Home plate umpire Bob Stees sat back and gave him the ball.
course, if you only have one strike, you can afford to take that.
Franceschi batting .354 coming into the tournament with 26 RBIs. Two and one the count. Franceschi had the game-winning RBI hit in the bottom of the ninth of the Lockport Regional Championship over crosstown rival Joliet Central. So he can't come up with a clutch hit. He's looking at a 2-1 count here with 2 runners aboard and 2 outs. Off the handle of the bat, shortstop Funkhauser's there and makes the catch. Both clubs rally for some sparks in the fourth, but no fire and still no score. As we go to the top of the fifth of a scoreless Class AA championship game, the wind continues to blow out toward right center on a muggy, overcast evening that has tornado watches out in the central Illinois area. But right now, the watch here at Springfield at Lanphier Park is on this Tiger Ball Club from Edwardsville and the opposing Hilltoppers from Joliet Catholic. Cameron Turner, the number 9 hitter in Coach Tom Pyle's order, and playing out at center field as the leadoff hitter in the inning. He grounded out to shortstop his first time up. This is the young man we talked about who has had only 3 varsity starts in his entire high school career. They have come in the last 2 days in the quarterfinal, semi, and final. That Coach Pyle made it a point to talk about this kid, and he would like to see Little League kids see what this young man, Cameron Turner, has gone through, what it takes to pay your dues. And he slashes one down the line. That will just go foul in front of the left field umpire, Chuck Schaefer.
You know, this is the type of ball player you like to have in your ball club, because he's probably worked hard all year. And, you know, you're always telling those kids, you got to be ready. And when your time comes, it's got to be there. This ball just fouled by about 3-4 feet.
That almost untied umpire Chuck Schaefer's shoes. It was so close. There's Schaefer down the left field line in the championship game. 6 umpires. 1-2 delivery, and Cieslog gets Turner going after that sidewinding curveball.
He keeps it on the outside corner. He brings it in on the back door.
That is his slurve. He comes over the top with that curveball and puts a little bit behind it. And you saw how that broke on the outside corner against Turner.
That was a nice pitch. It's a good out pitch right there.
Strikeout number 3 for the pitcher Ciesla, and Tim Funkhauser, the leadoff hitter, hits one to shallow right field down the line. Petak is there, 2 away in the top of the 5th. This game has gone quick. For the last 4 years in a row, this Edwardsville team has been the #1 ranked team in the St. Louis area. But as we've talked about, Joliet Catholic has been to the state finals now 6 years.
They've had some
5 of those under Jack Szymanski, who you remember. In fact, I saw Jack out here in the ballpark. He is now assistant coach at Lewis University for Irish O'Reilly.
Jack did a fine job when he was at Joliet, and he's had some very fine ball players come through that system. And just like Joe was saying today, that you know, his ball players, he puts them pretty much on an even keel. You know, they're all the same type of ball player. Very aggressive.
Gross grounder, too tough to handle for Chignoli. And that is error number 2 on the Hilltopper infield in this ball game. So Chignoli having a bit of trouble getting that ball up, but going to his right.
Just a little lack of concentration on that play.
Every inning, Mike McDonald, the Tigers have had a runner aboard. However, and give credit to the Hilltoppers, they have yet to score. Joliet, meanwhile, has had only 1 inning of runners on base of the 4 that they've been up. Here's the number 3 hitter in the order, Tom Price, the DH, who has struck out twice today, once to end the 3rd. And he hits a line shot. Chignoli's got that one, and he makes up for the air with a nice snag on the line drive to end the 5th. They go to the bottom half of the inning. Joliet Catholic coming up, and the Tigers still looking for a run. We go to the bottom half of the 5th inning of a scoreless Class AA baseball championship from Springfield. And in the 5th, Joliet Catholic will send Mike Petak, Brian Churak, and Brent McGraw, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, to the plate here in the inning against Mark Little, just one of 4 quality starters Edwardsville brings into this tournament.
I tell you what, they have some fine pitching. Blassingen last night, and Price today, and now Little. And I tell you, yeah, that's what you need to get to this tournament, get to this point right here.
And there is a grounder through the hole the other way. Mike Petak takes Little into left field and applauds his single, the second hit of the day, and the first hit out of the infield by Joliet Catholic in this championship game.
Now we'll see if Joliet will take and bunt on this and advance him over. He takes his ball the opposite way. Okay, we're not going to see the replay.
We'll come back to it as they go to the mound, and coming out to the mound to talk with his players is the longtime assistant coach.
Okay, let's go to the replay here, Joe. Okay, he takes the ball. The ball was inside. He inside out on the swing, and the ground ball went through, short and third for the base hit. It was a real nice swing on by the hitter.
Well, as assistant coach Mike Waldo comes off the field, the first baseman Morris and the rest of the infield go back to position as Petak out at first base, and that'll bring up Brian Churak. Churak grounded out his last time up. Joliet Catholic, for the most part, has played its best and most relaxed baseball this season when they have a lead, usually an early lead. That has not been the case, as we have a very tight pitching duel, defensive duel between these two outstanding ball clubs.
These kids seem very relaxed, though. They don't look like they're playing under a lot of pressure. Even though it's a tight ball game, it's a championship game of the state tournament, they seem to be very relaxed and are playing very well out there tonight.
Edwardsville, ranked 17th in the country, according to the USA Today, was ranked as high as number 6 in 1988 when these two teams met in the quarterfinal of this tournament. They were ranked number 25 at the season-ending USA Today poll last season in 1989. So Edwardsville known nationally. And here is their mix of bag tricks, and the second baseman coming over to cover the bag while the first baseman charges, but no throw, and the pitch is wide for a ball.
I think that was a set play. They tried to pitch out and had the second baseman coming over. The first baseman came inside the line wide so he wouldn't interfere with the pickoff throw.
Churak stays on the pitcher, but the pitcher goes to first base. A lot of school records being put down by these two clubs this season with their excellent baseball leading to this championship game here today. The 1-0 delivery bunts down the first base line but goes foul. Edwardsville has won 24 in a row coming into this ball game as an independent. There are 31 wins on the season for the Tigers, ties a school record set actually twice in 88 and 89.
And before the state tournament started in regional play, the kids made a comment, or people made a comment in the community, we have to win the state championship to break the school record on wins. And they're here.
And that's what they're here for today. Not only take a state trophy home, but come up with that new school record for most wins in a season. Joliet Catholic, meanwhile, at 25-5 on the year, has won 14 of their last 15 ball games. So both clubs playing good baseball at the right time of the year. Again, the bunt just inside, misses for a ball. 2-1 the count.
That was very close.
Churak, not only celebrating his 18th birthday today, is also celebrating his second year in a row. He's made the National Honor Society. Excellent student in the classroom. Again, the throw over to first base.
Hey, he's got a pretty nice pickoff move. He throws the ball over there quick, with a quick release.
2-1 delivery comes in. The bunt goes foul right side, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Petak goes back over to first base. He has 9 stolen bases on the year. Coming into the tournament is Joe Rodiguero in his first year, flashing the signs from the third base coach's box to Petak, the runner at first base.
Come on, Brian, let's go. Base hit now. Let's go.
A conservative lead, a throw back to first. Chirac, who lives with his family in Romeoville, Illinois, has hit the ball hard all year long. He's a good fastball hitter. In fact, this is a kid who got cut from the team as a junior, didn't even make the varsity. He fouls one off, but he worked hard during the offseason to make the team as a senior. And here he is in the starting lineup of the championship baseball game at the end of his senior year. That is perseverance, along with the Cameron Turner kid from Edwardsville.
Right. I mean, again, you know, here's a kid that didn't give up on himself. And a lot of kids do give up on themselves if they don't make the team the first time. And here, you know, maturity, physical maturity will make a difference after 2-3 years.
With the runner at first and no outs, the 2-2 delivery and slicing it foul. I'll tell you, the pitcher, Little, spending a lot of time throwing to first, and Chirac, the hitter, spending a lot of time in making the pitcher, Little, work at this at bat.
Well, when you have 2 strikes on you, you gotta protect the plate. So anything close coming up, you got to get a piece of it. You try to foul it off, and then if they have the pitcher make the mistake by putting the ball over the plate in your zone, and then you go for the good base hit.
Here's the 2-2 delivery. It is inside, and it goes 3-2. McGraw in the on-deck circle. Well, they called Chirac Rock, and they call McGraw Curly. No, this is not a cartoon character team. A team of characters, yes. But Edwardsville is a pretty loose group, too, out at their hotel the afternoon prior to this game. They're all just drinking pop and Gatorade and relaxing, joking around. A lot of followers at the hotel with them, keeping them loose for the championship game here today. The 3-2 delivery, there goes the runner, and it's off the shoulder of his bat. No, I believe off his foot. So that'll bring Chirac with a little bit of pain back to the box.
Well, they sent him. We can watch the swing here. It comes right off the front foot.
Ouch, right off. I'll tell you what, that little toe tonight will be called his big toe.
It'll at least match it anyway.
Maybe not in color, but certainly in size.
It'll be interesting to see if he sends him again. And watch Serva's throw.
Runner went on the last pitch. And the throw back over. Well, this is certainly something that both teams who have come into this ball game with aggressive base running styles want to prevent the other team from doing. Thus far, they have done that. 1 stolen base today, and that was for Edwardsville. But on a very poor throw. Here's the 3-2 delivery. There goes the runner. It's a ground ball through the hole. The hit and run, and here comes the runner for third. There'll be a play, hit for a slide. Ball gets away, and everybody's safe. Runners on the corner for Joliet Catholic with no outs in the bottom of the 5th and no score. And the Hilltopper crowd from the Joliet area on their feet.
I don't know if we can call this a hit and run with a 3-2 count, but you know, the runner was going, and the shortstop broke early instead of seeing what the hitter did with the ball, and he hit right through the shortstop area for the base hit, and the runner on first went all the way to third. Good base running, good heads-up base running.
Well, Chirac really earned that hit as he goes off for a pinch runner. He kept battling and battling as Coach Pyle talks to his battlers out on the hill, and we'll have a pinch runner coming into the ball game. Jeff Bonebray comes in for Chirac, who gets a big welcome back at the Joliet Catholic dugout. As Pyle talks with his group, and Jeff Bonebray dons a helmet next to Coach McCarthy at first base. Bonebreak, an outstanding football player for Joliet Catholic, has 6 stolen bases, and over at third base for the Hilltoppers is Mike Petak, who really turned it on, getting around the diamond on that base hit into left field.
Coach Pyle, I think, went out to talk just a little bit, just to, you know, to go over the play situation. First and third, there's a couple things that Joliet can try, such as a forced balk steal or delayed steal, or we call it an extended forced balk, where he gets an extended lead and gets picked off. So there's a lot of different things that you can try here. So he just wanted to make him aware that the runner might break early.
Well, here is Curly McGraw, who's had that red-hot bat. And he hits one sharp to shortstop. Funkhauser, the great play. They get one, pulled off the bag, and the Hilltoppers score. Petak making it a 1-0 ball game in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, they almost turned that double play. Funkhauser made a nice backhand play.
That ball was headed for the hole.
Makes it a nice diving stop. He comes up, makes a good relay to second. Second over first, and they just about get him and pulled him off the bag.
Well, you know, people kid Curly McGraw about not having much speed, but he got down that line. McGraw, of course, pulling the first baseman off the bag. Funkhauser right there. Boy, what a play. He made that play. There could have been 2-run scoring. Well, here is the number 9 hitter in the order, Dave English. Jim Lynch, the pinch runner over at first base for Joliet Catholic, as the senior Dave English. And the throw is back in time. There's Lynch, pinch running for McGraw. English is the fastest runner on the team, and so far as base steals go.
He's a .317 hitter, batting in the number 9 slot, so he's a good contact hitter.
Lynch has no steals to his credit at first base, and the pitcher looks Lynch back to first base.
In this morning's game, he was 1 for 1. He had a sacrifice bunt and a base hit.
Inside and low, ball 1. The Joliet Catholic fans along the third base line all standing, at least the student body portion of it. It used to be all boys standing, but now it's co-ed, and that will be the case academically for both schools when they merge in Joliet next season, and it becomes Joliet Catholic Academy in the fall. To throw it back in time.
Real close on that pickoff. Tag was a little high on the shoulder, but he got the hand in.
The parents, of course, sit back and relax, and those to the right of this group are all on their feet, standing, cheering on their Hilltoppers, who lead 1-0 in the bottom of the 5th. Quick throwback. Little, the pitcher, may have thrown more throws over to first base this inning than he has thrown pitches in the last 3 innings.
He has to keep the runner close. There's no doubt about that. We don't want to give him a chance to steal a base.
Well, both teams are prone to do that. That's their aggressive style of baseball in a game that, as you said earlier, Mike, Coach Pyle thought would be a high-scoring affair, but this has come down to a pitchers and defensive duel, and I think the base running may turn out to be the key that turns this game one way or the other.
It could be, very much so, just like that last play there. You know, they started the runner and the base hit and brought him all the way to third.
2-0 delivery to English, and it is a strike call at the knees. English, also a football captain on the Joliet Catholic Ball Club. Great speed. As Coach Rodiguero calls him, the best number 9 hitter in the Will County area, up in the southwest suburbs of Chicago. There goes the runner, a swing and fouled off. English protecting his runner, and with the shortstop, of course, coming over to protect the bag. That leaves a big hole, as the Hilltoppers took advantage of earlier in the inning.
Last time he ran on 3-2. This time he ran on 2-2. Figured the pitcher didn't want to go another, you know, take another chance on getting another ball on the hitter and get ball behind, so he's going to bring the ball in. So he started the runner and possibly do the same thing they did last time.
English, a B honor roll student at the plate as Lynch dives back in. Hasn't decided where he's going to attend college yet. He's thinking about Southern Illinois University in Carbondale, home of the Salukis, or Iowa State University, home of the Cyclones. As a former Saluki, I gave him my vote on that. There goes the runner on the 2-2 delivery, and it hits English on the left forearm. He's in some pain. It may even got him just above the left elbow. He is really grimacing in pain. Oh, it got him on the bicep where all that muscle tissue is. I think he'll be okay.
Okay, it was a fastball inside. He just froze. He didn't move. It hit him about 3-4 inches up above the elbow, and I think if he gets a shot at first base, there's a little red mark on his bicep.
Just above his elbow. And so Mark Little, the pitcher, has advanced a runner to first base, hitting a batter last inning in Cardwell and this inning in English. And now the top of the Hilltopper order in Todd Fitzgerald. He got the first base hit of the ball game for Joliet on a bunt right in front of home plate.
He's got good wheels. He can run.
Hilltopper runners at first and second. No out, rather one out with one run aboard. They call Fitz, you'd think they'd call him Fitz. That would be a natural nickname for Fitzgerald, but instead they call him Cooch.
Cooch, huh? Coochie?
Well, I'm not sure if that's the reason why, Mike. I hope that's not the case with him and his teammates. Maybe with his girlfriend, but not his teammates. One out. Runners at first and second in the bottom of the fifth. 1-0 Joliet Catholic. 1-0 the count as Fitzgerald steps out of the box for a moment. The number 4, 5, and 6 hitters coming up in the top of the sixth for the Tigers. Little checks his runners, kicks and deals, and fouls this one off into the screen on the left side. And the count evens at 1-1 against Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald has been the quiet leader this year for Joliet Catholic. Coach Rodriguez calls him the general on defense in the infield. And right now, Little is more concerned about getting the general to surrender here at the plate.
Everyone needs a good field general, I tell you.
Now, Fitz provides that for Joliet Catholic's infield. The 1-1 delivery, and it's a strike right across the belt. Want to remind you, following the game, we will bring you up to date on the all tournament team. Possibly have time to show you some of the trophy presentations. Pitcher ahead of the hitter, 1-2. Inside curveball, misses, and the chin music backs Fitz off the plate.
I noticed one thing, when the balls have been inside, the Joliet hitters do not really give much ground on the ball coming in. You know, they kind of just, you know, just flinch a little bit to make a, you know, somewhat of an attempt. But, you know, the rule says you must make a now attempt to get out of the way. So.
And the ball drops inside for ball 3. Many of the Edwardsville crowd right behind home plate came out of their seats and lost a few hats.
I was just going to make a comment. If you notice the way he stands to the plate, his hands are right over.
Tom Pyle is out of the dugout and giving an earful to the home plate umpire, Bob Stees. There's Pyle. He is still jawing with the home plate umpire on that last call. And I'll tell you, when he jaws, you hear him on the other side of the ballpark.
That looked like
and he's going to come out of the dugout and talk a little further with the umpire. There is Bob Stees, and they call him Moto. I'll tell you, this is the king of the samurais right here. But he admits he's a very emotional guy. He wears his personality, and very proud of it. In fact, met his wife Kay at the hotel, and she says, I've been married to him more than half my life. She smiles and laughs when she says it. I think in a sense of pride. And I guess when you're with a guy with a personality like that, you just kind of grin, laugh and bear with it. You know, a lot of people who see that growl don't realize how much Pyle has done for the Edwardsville High School program and its grammar school feeder systems while teaching history there. Throwback over to second, and the runner is back in time.
Well, he also said, too, that he was a hard guy to play for, you know, because, you know, he's very stern with the kids, and yet, like you said, you know, he pats them on the back, and yet he'll holler at them, too. You know,
I think kids respond to that kind of discipline, though, if it's put in the proper way. And even
That's right.
Tom said, well, actually, you were saying to me before the game, because I know you coach a lot like that. You let the vocal cords air out a little bit. There's a shot up the middle. Funkhauser comes over, flips over to second for one. And again, the Edwardsville shortstop, Tim Funkhauser, saves what possibly could have been another run.
he wanted to make sure that he kept this ball in the infield, and as you can see, it's just to the left side of second base. He comes in, he gets down low, and his feet go out from underneath him, but they got the first out at second base, and they got a first and third situation, which now again, you know, you got to be heads up. There's 2 outs. Now they may try something here to see if they can get, you know, this run in from third base, get an insurance run here.
Well, here's Mark Chignoli, the senior. Jiggs has grounded out and hit a sacrifice bunt that moved Fitzgerald along back in the fourth, but was out on the sacrifice bunt, moving the runner along. Fitzgerald ended up being stranded. 1-0 Joliet Catholic here in the bottom of the fifth, as these two teams clawing at each other to just get a scrape of a run. Joliet Catholic has succeeded once. There goes, nope, the runner at first gave the fake go. He faked me out. I thought he was gone.
Yeah, he made a nice bluff. But I still think they're going to try something here. Try to get this run in.
Fitzgerald is the runner at first. Check that, at third base. Excuse me, I was correct the first time. Fitzgerald at first, Lynch at third base. There's Lynch. The 2-0 delivery, a shot down the line. That is a foul ball.
Man.
And Joe Rodriguero, the head coach of the Hilltoppers, is out there now talking things over with his opinion to third base umpire Ken Palmer. And Palmer, who was there in earshot of the Joliet Catholic fans, there's Palmer. And that ball just obviously on the opposite side of the bag. That was a tough call.
That was very close, very close.
Chignoli got everything on that. So Fitzgerald catching his breath. He was already around second base heading for third when that ball went through. Lynch cleaning himself off. He was scoring in a hurry and jumping away from that ball. But with a 2-1 count now on Chignoli, Edwardsville's crowd yelling for some defense, and this fouls it off right back here into press row.
They had a delayed steal on.
For a moment there, I thought Mike McDonald was going to go grab for that, as we see Danny McCarthy straightening up the equipment and shoulders over there of Fitzgerald. Little checks Fitz, sees second is wide open, and nose to the corner of his right eye. He's got a runner at third.
I was going to try for that, but I knew we couldn't keep him, so I just thought, well, what the heck.
That's right. Hillman runners at first and third. Second is open. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And Mark Chignoli, the hitter. 1-0 Joliet Catholic over Edwardsville in the bottom of the fifth. And a swing and a miss and a big strikeout for Mark Little. And he knows it, and his coach does too. Edwardsville is jacked up, but the Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers are on the board with 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left aboard. We go to the top of the 6th. Tom Pyle's Tigers are down by 1. Rain and tornadoes were threatening earlier in central Illinois, but the pinkness of the sunshine that will appear tomorrow fades in the western skies over central Illinois and Springfield, where the Class AA baseball championship goes to the top of the 6th. 1-0 Joliet Catholic leading the Tigers of Edwardsville, who lead off with their pitcher Mark Little, who came up with that big strikeout to end the Hilltopper rally in the bottom of the 5th. And he fouls it off the other way and evens the count against pitcher Tim Ciesla, 1-1.
Mark's pitched a fine ball game tonight, and it's, you know, it's a shame that somebody's got to lose this ball game, unfortunately. But you know, both pitchers are doing an outstanding job up to this point.
Little, who may look like Vic Morrow in uniform after an hour of combat, is one of the real highlight characters of this Edwardsville team. He's one of the players that keeps everybody loose, but you wouldn't know it by that game face he's been wearing since the umpire called play ball earlier tonight. He has shown great athletic ability all season long for the Tigers. Works himself to a 2-2 count against Ciesla. Pitcher against pitcher. And it comes up high for ball 3. Well, I'll tell you, Snake's mom and everybody else from Edwardsville on their feet trying to rally the Tigers here in the top of the 6th against Joliet Catholic and Tim Ciesla, the pitcher, and they started off for the base on balls.
Okay. Let's see what happens here. See if they'll, of course, they've got the number 5 hitter up.
That is the 4th base on balls given up by Tim Ciesla, bringing the catcher, J.J. Sherba, to the plate. Sherba, one of those base on ball batters, he has also grounded out.
He bunted earlier today on a try to sacrifice bunt early and popped up to the pitcher. I think he may try to bunt again here to try to get this runner down to second base. I think he showed it right there a little bit with the hands. The infielders will be watching hand. Third baseman will watch his hands. As soon as he gives up on the bat, he'll be coming hard to play the bunt defense. He's coming already. Third baseman is.
Shows the bunt. There goes the runner. The throw is down. Gets away from the second baseman, or excuse me, the shortstop covering. And stolen base number 2 in the game for Edwardsville, who stole 15 in the semifinal against Simeon.
Caldwell throws down. It's a little bit in the dirt, a little bit short. Come up short on him. But he kept it in front of him. He kept the runner from going to third. Again, the bunt's in order here.
And Little just continues to work on the levels of dirt on his uniform. Again, looking for the bunt. The Joliet Catholic catcher, Mike Cardwell, has some very interesting catching gear on. It is brown, like the Hilltopper uniform colors, and the reason for that, it was sent by the San Diego Padres. Mark Grant, a former Hilltopper who pitched in this state tournament series, sent that to his alma mater. Here's a grounder to McGraw. He's going to get the tag, does, and then runs it back into the infield.
Well, he got him to third base. He's there with one out. Nice ball. He pushes it to first.
McGraw made a nice play getting up there, and he hustles out there to make the tag.
On the shoulder.
One away, and so moving over to third base will be Mark Little, representing the tying run here in the top of the 6th. 1-0 Joliet Catholic. Edwardsville has hit only one ball safely here against this pitcher, Tim Ciesla. Although it seemed like Ciesla was struggling with his control early in the game, he's gotten out of a couple of jams, the biggest one being in the 4th, when 2 runners were left aboard. This one's fouled back behind home plate. Greg Morrison, the first baseman, who has 7 home runs this year, represents the lead run for the Tigers. The wind, which was blowing out to right center at about 8 to 10 miles an hour, has a dead American flag laying on the post beyond the center field fence.
Today he hit one at second base, and then he hit a line drive to left field down by the left field line.
Throw back over to third. This is the play that Ciesla threw over to Brancheski to pick an Oak Park River Forest runner off third to kill an Oak Park rally, which Joliet Catholic went on to win 3-2 in the semifinal. It's got a good move over to third. They get their decisions on their pickoffs from the dugout. Coach McCarthy or Coach Rodagero give the pitcher the okay sign to make the pickoff move. There's the bunt squeeze. They're going to go home. They got a play in there safe. We got a tie ball game.
Good execution.
There was the big squeeze bunt. Little gets in there, is smothered by his teammates as we are tied 1-1 here in the top of the sixth. Squeeze bunt, chapter 1.
Good execution. The only thing I'd say here, the catcher didn't have the plate blocked enough.
So a great bunt by Morrison on the squeeze gives Edwardsville their second hit of the game. Check that, a fielder's choice on the play.
He's also credited with the sacrifice and no time at bat.
So a big play there for Morrison, and that leads to Steve Flowers, the second baseman. Still one out, and the Tigers rallying here in the sixth. Last year, these Motto Marauders set a school record in stolen bases. They stole 179 bases in 36 games. Just to give you an indication of why they like to run, whether it's the stolen base, and certainly if you steal like that, you're going to play aggressive baseball like this. And Joe Rodiguero comes out to the mound to talk to his pitcher, Tim Ciesla. Rodiguero is a 1972 graduate of Joliet Catholic High School, where he played baseball. Went on to play some baseball at Lewis University, although he was hurt his senior year. Lewis University, of Coach Ira Shirali, finished third in the NCAA Division II World Series this past season. And in the pen is Mark Hinsey, warming up under the lights down the left field line.
He waved his hat. He's ready if they need him.
Hinsey has been their big third man in that rotation this season for Joliet Catholic. Called strike on the outside corner. Hinsey came in to get the save in the semifinal win over Oak Forest. Got the win in the regional final over Joliet Central. We talked to him after the semifinal win, Mike, and he said, yeah, he'll be ready for tonight.
You bet. You know, this is for all the marbles, and they're going to be ready.
Ball thrown outside.
I know in our championship game, our number one hurdler through the first game on Thursday came out with an arm problem, and we iced him the rest of that day, and he came back on Friday night in relief and got the save for us.
3-1 count on the hitter Flowers, a runner aboard, no steal attempt, and a strike call, even bringing the count full to 3 balls and 2 strikes. Motto over at third, flashing his signals. Got that left-hand glove on, one of his many superstitions. Always drinks just water before the game, a couple of cups and just a couple of sip out of each cup. The runner was going, and it is called ball 4. Second base on balls given up by the pitcher Ciesla. Flowers at first base. Advancing over to second is Morrison. And with 1 out and 2 runners aboard, the number 8 hitter in the Edwardsville lineup, third baseman Dave Slemmer comes in to face Ciesla. The delivery, and Slemmer goes after a high fastball, strike 1.
A little bit over anxious on that swing. He's just trying to, get the base hit so he can drive in the go-ahead run, but you got to be patient. You got to wait for your pitch to hit.
Morrison at third, Flowers at first. To check that, Morrison at second, Flowers at first. 0-1 delivery, fouls it back, and Ciesla all of a sudden ahead of the hitter at 0-2.
Now again, the hitter's got to look. Anything close to the plate, he's got to get a piece of, foul it off, and then make him bring the ball over the plate where he can make good, solid contact.
Ciesla threw 99 pitches in the quarterfinal win over Loves Park Harlem, and then played left field in the semifinal win over Oak Park. But he told his coach, hey coach, you want to take me in the semi, I'll go. He said, no, we're going to hold you off, son, until the final, and that's where he's at here today. Tied 1-1 in the top of the sixth. 1-2 delivery on Slemmer, and he pops it up right side. McGraw, the first baseman there, and squeezes it for out number 2.
Infield fly rule is in effect there. It was an automatic out.
The number 9 hitter, Cameron Turner, will step into the batter's box with 2 runners aboard. There you see him on the right side of the infield.
Here's our young man again.
I'll tell you, here's Turner, and it wouldn't surprise me a bit if the kid who's only had 3 starts in his entire high school baseball career in the varsity, in the last 2 days comes up to be a key player in this game. His coach somewhat hinted at that when I was talking with him at the hotel earlier in the day.
Yes, coach had a lot of confidence in him, and that's why he's got him in the ball game. He's going to go with him.
1-0 count on the hitter. Outside 2-0. One sign that the Joliet coaches are looking for on their pitcher, Ciesla, if his ball keeps coming up, then they're worried, and they may pull him for Hinsey. But he has had a rubber arm all year long. He has not had any arm problems in the last 2 seasons. And he delivers the 2-0 count, and it fouls it off behind the screen.
That kind of surprised me a little bit. 2-0 count on the hitter. He's struggling out there, and gave him the green light to go ahead and hit.
I don't think anything would surprise me about the head coach of Edwardsville, Tom Pyle.
That could be, though. It's and two, it's just like it's a nothing ball game. 1-1's tied up. It's no one's got the lead, so you go ahead and give him the green light.
And he swings again to even the count of 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. So Turner, getting some of the humidity out of his eyes, steps back in with 2 runners aboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 away. And he slashes one down the left field line into the Joliet bullpen, but out of play, and Morrison and the rest will go back to their bases. You thought it was going to drop bare, didn't you, Mac?
I
thought you were going to come out of your headset there.
Well, pretty close. I sat there and I thought maybe, we're looking at a kid here that's worked very hard all season, and like you say, maybe he's the one that's going to do it for him and, get the limelight.
The 2-2 delivery, and again he goes the other way, but into left, and there for the catch is Churach to end the inning. But in the top of the 6th, Edwardsville ties things up with 1 run. On no hits, the sacrifice squeeze bunt did it, and we're tied going into the bottom of the 6th. 1 apiece. As we go to the bottom of the 6th here at Robin Roberts Stadium at Lanphier Park in Springfield, the Class AA baseball championship tied up at 1 apiece between Edwardsville and Joliet Catholic as the Hilltoppers come to the bat. Joe Passion here along with Mike McDonald, the head baseball coach at Morton High School. His ball club won this tournament a few years ago, and if Joliet Catholic fans look on, we'd like to give a big round of applause and thanks to some of the people from the IHSA like Jim Flynn and Don Robinson, who have done a great job for us this week covering the tournaments, and Ken Leonard and his staff who directed the tournament. He is the AD over at Springfield Griffin High School. Several other people will get a chance to fit them in at some point, but Mark Little right now is the man of the hour. And it doesn't matter how many boxes of Tide it's going to take to clean that uniform. He'll do it because he has really been the guy that has hurt Ciesla and the Hilltoppers today. And here's the great pitcher versus pitcher matchup. And a shot to the second baseman, diving to his left.
Flowers matchup.
Up high, but coming down with it is the first baseman, Morrison. Steve Flowers enthused about making that nice play.
The ball's hit to his left. He makes a diving stop, and he kind of rushes a little bit. He had a little more time than that. He got the ball up, and first baseman made a nice play. Brought it down, got the bag on the way down.
Ciesla has hit the ball hard on the ground, but Flowers and teammates in the infield aren't letting it get through. Here's Mike Cardwell, the catcher, has been hit by a pitch and has grounded out to short. Cardwell was robbed of an outstanding play defensively at shortstop by Funkhauser of Edwardsville.
When you got pitchers throwing like this and they're throwing strikes, your defense is ready because, the balls are going to be put in play because the ball's over the plate. You get some games where the pitchers don't get the ball over the plate and your defense has a little tendency to fall asleep.
Check swing over to Flowers. Easy 4-3 put out, and it's 1-2-3 in the 6th for the Hilltoppers. Bringing up Brett Franceschi as Cardwell heads back to the dugout.
Well, Steve Flowers made sure of that throw. That was a nice play. He come up with the ball. He just made a nice firm throw to first base, and it's right on the money.
Well, with Pitek on deck, Franceschi steps into the box with 2 outs and nobody on, tied at 1 here in the bottom of the 6th. Taking a little bit off the pitch, comes in inside for ball 1. Rich Piatek, the baseball coach at Hillcrest High School, has been our PA throughout this tournament in the Class AA side, inside and low. Dan DeFreitas of Springfield, the Class A public address announcer. And boy, what tremendous help. It's like covering Major League Baseball, as I've been privileged to do for several years, with all the people working the stats, like Pete Stoll and Larry Tate, Bill Dever, Art Kimball, Ed House, Karen and Jerry Hairstein. All these people who put in so much of their volunteer time to help out this tournament. I don't think the kids really realize. We in the press certainly do, and like to thank them for their time and dedication in these tournaments.
Even the general public don't know how much, donated time and efforts put into these tournaments or any kind of a school function as far as that goes.
The 3-1 count with 2 outs. The umpires, of course, not necessarily volunteering their time. Getting to the tournament is a reward to the umpires who are voted on by the coaches around their area of who should be nominated to go downstate. So these guys in white and black here today are here as a reward for their great work during the regular season. So a base on balls to Brett Brancheski. Mike, that is the first base on balls given up by the Edwardsville pitcher today.
Well, like I say, he's putting the ball over the plate and making the hitter swing at it. And, it's one thing as a pitcher, you cannot walk people because the walks eventually hurt you.
Here's Mike Pitek, who singled his last time up and then scored the only run on the board for Joliet. There goes the runner, and the throw is in the dirt, head first slide, and a stolen base for Franceschi. First stolen base of the game for Joliet.
You can't see it on the film or on the replay, but he got an excellent jump off of first base on that. The delivery was a little bit slow to the plate, and he got the jump off the pitcher rather than the catcher's arm.
Sure, but the catcher really had to hurry his throw like Cardwell, the catcher for Joliet, has had to do himself. And that again goes back to the fleet-footed runners who are really taking big jumps on the pitchers. The delivery drops in there for a ball. And Tom Pyle out of the dugout again, chirping at the home plate umpire. And he does that not so much just with his mouth, but he claps his hands a lot and loud.
That's part of the purpose for that glove, too.
To cushion that hand of his. He wouldn't have any more feeling in it the way he goes at it. This is fouled back into the aluminum seats here at Robin Roberts Stadium. A 1-2 delivery, or 1-2 count for the pitcher Little against Pitek, who's been Mr. Consistency in the field and at the plate this season for Joliet. And he slashes one down the line, and Tim Cieslow is down the third base line keeping warm by throwing casually, plucked that out of the air.
That surprised me that he's down there still throwing, as many pitches as he throws in a ball game, then going down in the bullpen area and throwing more pitches on the side. That's got to take wear and tear out of the arm, too.
With a runner on second and 2 outs, tied at 1 in the bottom of the 6th. A swing and a miss. And once again, Little comes up with a big inning-ending strikeout. No runs, no hits, no errors, a man left. We go to the top of the 7th. Still tied, 1-1. We go to the last inning of regulation in high school baseball, the top of the 7th. We're tied at 1 here in the Class A Baseball Championship between Edwardsville and Joliet Catholic. Edwardsville in the state finals tournament for the 4th time in the last 10 years. Joliet Catholic in the state final tournament for the 6th time in the last 15 years. So these two teams are very familiar with this tournament as far as tradition goes. Both teams faced each other in the quarterfinal 2 years ago. As the leadoff hitter, Tim Funkhauser, leads off for Edwardsville, who come in with a 31-3 record.
Do you know if any Joliet players were on that ball club when they faced each other?
None on this current club. To the third baseman, Brzezinski throws in the dirt, and McGraw makes the tag at first.
What a pickup. Nice play by the first baseman.
Well, McGraw may be 6'1" and 250 pounds, but one of the reasons why he's an all-conference defensive lineman is his quick feet, and he shows his hands here as Brzezinski makes a nice charge. McGraw does the rest.
He had the tag on the base and the runner both, so he made double sure.
Well, it was a double play, but only one out for Curly McGraw. And with one out in the top of the 7th, Pyle moving over back to the third base coach's box. There is his enthusiasm that rubs off on his players in such a successful manner that they're here in the championship game as John Drost, the right fielder. Drost has reached base twice today, Mike. He's walked and reached on an error, but in both cases, both left stranded.
Yes, he's on the day, he's only had one hit on the day. He was 1 for 2 in the first game, and now he's 0 for 1 here. He's had a couple sacrifice bunts and 2 walks.
And how fun it has been to watch this game unfold and see defensive plays, big pitches by the hurlers become the key plays that lead to the motivation and the momentum swings.
Boy, it has
instead
too.
of the big hits.
It has, you know, and both cases where the runs were scored, you know, it picked up both teams in playing their defense as well as at the plate. You know, too, when they ran the bases, neither catcher has got the ball down there in time, and I think both teams realize that they can run a little bit, and I think they're going to continue that, try to get that runner in scoring position if he gets to first.
Joliet Catholic will have the bottom of their orders, 7, 8, and 9 coming up at the bottom of the 7th. Swing and a miss, and there is Ciesla putting on some heat.
He brought that ball. He threw that one right by him. Right by him, drops.
Strikeout number 4 for pitcher Tim Ciesla. He is not a high strikeout artist. He averages about 5 a game. But he seems to come up with them in the right times, and that has been the case today of the Edwardsville pitcher, Mark Little. And here coming to the plate is Tom Price.
He's a good hitter, too. He's a fine hitter for Edwardsville.
Price will be going to the University of Notre Dame on a baseball scholarship. In fact, he'll play with a Joliet Catholic product from last year, Chris Mahalik, who is a pitcher on the Fighting Irish squad.
Mahalik had a pretty good year for him.
Chris Mahalik had an excellent year. Not only did he start at quarterback, started the basketball team, but also was a honorable mention All-State, All-Area selection. 2 as a reliever with 7 saves for the Irish, with an ERA just over 3. And him and Price, I'm sure, will become good friends on the South Bend campus come fall when their season begins for baseball out there.
You know, it's nice when you can go to a university and there's somebody there that you know, or you know from your state.
Hits one foul the other way. Price, a high school All-American. He is 13-0 as a pitcher. Coach Tom Pyle says he is the finest pitcher he has ever coached. And with all due respect to Coach Pyle, he's not one to just throw out compliments like that, and that is quite a compliment indeed.
That is.
The 2-2 delivery up high goes full 3-2 with 2 outs in the top of the 7th. Nobody aboard, tied at 1.
I think we might see an extra inning ball game here, Joe. I mean, these pitchers are really dueling each other very well and throwing the ball over for strikes.
Price just wanted to get a flip of the ball. And speaking of flips, Joliet Catholic, the home team in this game for the 3rd time in the 2 days in their 3 games. Each time the coin has been flipped by Father Bill, who is a priest at Joliet Catholic. I don't know who else is flipping it with Father Bill, but it's worked.
Oh,
Shot
what
to
a
the
play.
third baseman, Bruncheski. Will he make the play?
Holy.
He does. A 5-3 put out by Brett Bruncheski from third. And Edwardsville goes down 1-2-3. We're going to the bottom of the seventh. We're tied at 1. As we go to the bottom of the seventh, tied 1-1, Joliet Catholic coming to the plate as the home team with Brian Churach. Churach, who has singled in his 2 previous at-bats, fouls one off to the right side and out of play. On the mound is Mark Little, who has been superb. He has given up only 3 hits, has struck out 4, and has walked only 1. Curveball falls away outside to even the count 1-1. Joliet, Illinois, about a 3-hour drive down Interstate 55 from the southwest suburb of Chicago. And boy, I'll tell you, they have brought a throng of fans here for this game. Churach up the middle off the mound, but Flowers is there for the 4-3 putout. This defensive infield for Edwardsville has been spotless.
Well, I tell you, that group up the middle, Funkhauser and Flowers, they're doing an outstanding job. That ball took a funny hop right off that as it went away from the plate.
Well, that'll bring up Curly McGraw, who hit a 2-run homer, his first of the year, in the sectional semifinal win for Joliet Catholic over West Aurora. Curly has been red hot in the last month of the season, despite hitting out of the number 8 position. He's got a .389 batting average, 15 RBIs, and 1 home run.
That last time up, he hit that ball to the right of the shortstop. He made a nice backhand play and almost turned a double play.
It was McGraw's fielder's choice that batted in the only Hilltopper run. Mentioned McGraw, whose uncle, Jeff Herman, Major League ball player out at Joliet Catholic, College of St. Francis.
Whoa, what a play.
A one-handed grab by a diving fan, and that is a Hilltopper dad. And I'll tell you, there's got to be...
I think he saved Mom, didn't he?
He's smiling, but I don't know how he can be clapping that hand of his. McGraw, just a junior. He will be the one of 2 returning regulars for next season for Joliet Catholic. And backs away on a ball 2 count. 2-2. Beck McGraw, as we mentioned, not only a football defensive lineman, but also a weightlifting champion and a wrestler.
Little needs to pitch him inside because he's got an inside-out swing. He's hitting everything to the left side.
Backs away again. Ball 3. Full count on McGraw. Mark Little, 3-1 on the year, an ERA under 3 this season. Has not thrown during the final tournament until this game here today. McGraw goes the other way. Funkhauser, the shortstop, takes his time. 6-3 put out. And that's 2 away in the bottom of the 7th. So McGraw goes down.
Here again, you know, we mentioned earlier that he hits to the left side. Ball is out, and he just slapped at it and hit it right to Funkhauser, who makes a nice throw to first base for the put out.
Coach Pyle says Funkhauser's got great mechanics, and a lot of that is because of his dad, Bill, who coached Edwardsville before Pyle came along 13 years ago. And here's Dave English, the number 9 hitter in the Hilltopper order, and he swings and misses. Strike 1. He has been hit by a pitch in the 5th and grounded out to close the 3rd.
He again is up the middle hitter. He shows tendencies up between the second baseman and shortstop, right up the middle.
The 0-1 delivery. And a shot past the third baseman into left field. So with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th, Joliet Catholic has the potential winning run at first base. And that is only hit.
Here again, he gets the bat and the barrel out in front and pulls the ball and gets it by the third baseman and makes a nice diving try, but couldn't get to it.
Hit number 4 for the Hilltoppers today in this tightly pitched ball game. And Todd Fitzgerald, who hit a 2-run triple in the semifinal win, steps up to the batter's box. He has 3 RBIs in the 2 previous games in this finals tournament. English at first base is the stolen base leader on Joliet Catholic with 19 coming into the tournament. And he is leading off first, and conservatively, I might add, as the throw is over there. And well, Coach, you have 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th, tied at 1. Do you send your fastest guy to second?
Yes.
Well, this is how both teams have coached all year long. Joe Rodriguero in the third base coach's box for Joliet Catholic.
You know, you have your leadoff hitter up, so, you know, even if he doesn't make the base and he gets thrown out, ends the inning, and you come back with the top of the order up. So, you know, at some point in time here, he's going to send him.
Exactly it. Yet to throw a pitch.
There he goes.
Fitzgerald, there goes the runner. It's a pitch out. The throw is in there. They get him stealing. We're going extra innings here, folks, at the Class AA Baseball Championship. We're tied at 1 between Joliet Catholic and Edwardsville coming to the bat. We go into the top of the 8th, extra innings, tied at 1 in this Class AA Baseball Championship game, and Joliet Catholic brings in a new pitcher, relieving starter Tim Ciesla. On the hill for the Hilltoppers, taking his warm-ups, is right-hander Mark Hinsey. 4-2 on the season in 11 appearances, has pitched 36 innings in 2/3, has an ERA of 2.04. Hinsey has 26 strikeouts, 21 base on balls coming into the tournament to his credit. And the other changes will have Ciesla, who started on the mound, will move out to left field. And the Hilltoppers starting left fielder, Brian Churak, will become the designated hitter, which has been his regular spot when this becomes the situation for Joliet Catholic. And the pitcher, Hinsey, will not hit. Here's Ciesla out in left field.
I think he's going to hit for himself. Joe, if they haven't started with the DH, they can't enter DH now. So I think he's probably in for himself in the lineup.
Okay, thank you for the correction on that, Coach, on the re-entry rule. So Churak will be out of the game then as a left fielder.
Right, and Hinsey goes in his spot in the lineup.
Leading off the 8th is Mark Little, the pitcher for Edwardsville, and he works himself to a 1-1 count. In the dirt, and the ball goes 2-1. Hinsey came in the 6th inning of the semifinal win and picked up a save, striking out 2 in 2 innings of work, walking none. He was the winning pitcher of record for Joliet Catholic in their sectional.
Joe, just to put a little insight here, Ciesla threw 110 pitches in the ball game.
Fouls it off right side out of play, evens the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, that gives you a little indication of why Mark Hinsey has come into the ball game. Hinsey is a senior. Well, he can't hit the ball. He says one of his greatest athletic moments was hitting a grand slam home run in T-ball. Got a great sense of humor to go along with that, of course.
I'll tell you what, it's pretty tough hitting, though. Still got to circle those bases.
That's right. 3 balls and 2 strikes. No outs. Mark Hinsey said after the semifinal, I'll be ready for the final if my coach calls my number. He has here in the 8th. Held back, called strike 3. 1 out. Mark Little goes down looking and becomes strikeout victim number 1 for Mark Hinsey.
This ball's right on the outside corner. I tell you, with 2 strikes, you can't afford to take a pitch. At this point in time, you know, you got to protect the plate, get a piece of that one, foul it off, and then get another shot at the next pitch.
So catcher J.J. Sherba will come to the plate. He's 0 for 2 officially. Grounded out twice to the infield and has walked and stranded in the 4th. Hinsey with the fastball on the outside corner again. Doesn't have great velocity. Pitches in the upper 70s on a good day with an average, and he seemed to have popped that in the 78 range in the last pitch. Throws a curveball that breaks down and away, gets to the right-hander. Doesn't have a lot of junk, but just throws strikes. There's that over.
He just nips and tucks at the corners. You know, he moves the ball. You don't have to be overpowering as long as you can hit the strike zone and, you know, and pitch inside out, outside, up, down, you know, and catch the corners and nip away at the plate, and you'll be successful.
Well, Hinsey's doing that 0-2, and he goes back down hard, but in the dirt for ball 1.
You can afford to waste the pitch. He was 0-2 on the hitter. He probably threw a, you know, that was an overhand curveball into the dirt, trying to get him to go fishing for it, and he didn't.
This is the first championship game appearance for either team as a baseball squad. Outside, Edwardsville has been to the finals tournament 4 times in the last 11 years. 1980 with former coach Bill Funkhauser. 82 and 88, and here in 90 with Tom Pyle, fouled on and out of play. Joliet Catholic has been here 6 times. Check that, has been here 4 times. 1988 when they lost 4-0 to Edwardsville, and Jack Szymanski's final year as a 10-year coach at Joliet Catholic. In 1982, the Hilltoppers also lost in the quarterfinal to New Trier. Coach Klein, who I see out here today. Off the handle of the bat, McGraw goes out to foul territory, plucks it out, and squeezes it for out number 2 in the top of the 8th. That'll bring up Greg Morrison as McGraw doing the job over at first base. As Coach Radagero says, don't be deceived by his size. The kid can move. Got great footwork around first base back. In fact, the 2 times Joliet Catholic has gotten to the semifinals, their quarterfinals were won by current Major League stars. In 1981, Mark Grant, now pitching with the San Diego Padres, won their quarterfinal round before the Hillmen lost to Brother Rice. In 1977, current Houston Astros pitcher Bill Gullickson beat Canton in the quarterfinals before Joliet Catholic lost to Glenbard East.
Yeah, he comes right over the top with his pitching motion, and that's a little hard and a little deceptive too, because it's hard to pick up the arm and the release, follow the pitch in. Normally you're looking out about 3/4, you know, off of the shoulder. You know, most pitchers are 3/4 pitchers. This he throws right over the, you know, comes right over the top, and you pick it up at the last minute. So that's a little more effective for the pitcher.
And a shot down the right field line into the Edwardsville bullpen. Bouncing around out there to bring the count 1-2 with 2 outs. Joliet Catholic will have the top of their order coming up in the bottom of the 8th after English was caught stealing to close out the 7th.
Again, we got 2 strikes. If it's close, he's got to be trying to get a piece of the ball.
And he chopped in the dirt. It got away. It was not a foul tip, and the runners at first base with a pass, strike 3.
That goes as a strikeout with a wild pitch. Here, you know, the breaking ball down low in the dirt. He takes a cut. The ball gets by the catcher all the way back to the screen. And he gets down to first base. And we got 2 outs and a runner at first.
Mike Cardwell behind the plate, and now on first base is Greg Morrison with Steve Flowers coming to the bat. Steve Flowers had a single in the second, the only clean base hit of the game for the Tigers. And keep in mind, this is an Edwardsville Tiger ball club that set school records with 32 homers, set an RBI record this year, and set wins record, tied a wins record, and set a record for 24 wins in a row.
Well, they came into the tournament with 371 team batting average.
Joliet Catholic's Tim Ciesla, one hit him through 7, and on the hill, Mark Hinsey in relief, doing the job here in the top of the 8th. With that strikeout and wild pitch getting away from the catcher, a runner at first, 2 outs. Slummer on deck to be followed by Turner if it gets that far. Hinsey looks the runner back over to first base. And the Skeeters are out in mass. Throw back over, runner back in time. A humid evening that wasn't so bad earlier in the evening when there was a slight breeze coming out behind us, but the flag hasn't moved an inning down in the center field post. The 2-0 delivery fouled out of play and into the parking lot, bringing the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. What I find so interesting too, Mike McDonald, about these 2 schools and their great tradition in athletics, not just in baseball, but in all sports. Joliet Catholic coming out of a suburb southwest of the metropolis of Chicago. The Tigers of Edwardsville coming out of the suburb of the metropolis of St. Louis. Well known in their areas. In fact, Tiger coach Tom Pyle has a game every year at Bush Memorial Stadium to raise funds. And that's why he says he has maybe one of the best high school facilities in the country. Batting cages, diamonds, uniforms, pitching machines. There he goes. And he fouls it off right side out of play and again into the Edwardsville dugout. Joliet Catholic, known, although as a suburban small Catholic school with maybe not the greatest facilities in the world, they seem to make up with that with the personnel that are coaching and teaching there. And of course they play at an excellent facility at Ingalls Park in Joliet.
Hey, Tom was talking earlier, Tom Pyle, Edwardsville coach, he was talking about how, he hates to lose, therefore he wants to do everything that he can to get his teams prepared to win. And that goes from like playing that game in St. Louis. They make money on that because they sell tickets and they get so much back per ticket they sell. I think he said he had, 7 pitching machines. I don't know how many batting tunnels or cages. And it's just, he's got the facilities there in his community in that program, and therefore they're very successful.
There goes the runner, strike 3 swinging, and we are going to the bottom of the 8th, folks. Edwardsville, no runs, no hits, no errors, and a man left. We go to the bottom of the 8th, still tied at 1. Including bugs on this humid night in central Illinois. All ages, all genders come out to the ballpark for a little bit of the baseball action. We go to the bottom of the 8th, tied up at 1 apiece in front of a big crowd here that have really got in close behind their team's dugouts. Joliet Catholic coming into the plate as the home team against the Edwardsville Tigers.
I think we're going to see an exciting inning here. They got the top of the order. Fitzgerald, if he gets on, I'm sure Signoli will try to bunt him over. He's done it twice today and once in each game that they played so far. Once this morning and once this evening. And I think you're going to see him play for the 1 run right here.
Fitzgerald bunted on himself back in the 4th, has reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th, was stranded, struck out his first at-bat in the 1st.
He laid down a real nice bunt that first inning. For his base hit. His second time at bat this evening.
The Joliet Catholic starting quarterback, Fitzgerald, looks at a curveball dropping in there for strike 2. Fitzgerald will be followed by Chignoli and Ciesla, 3 of the top batting averages of their starting 9. The 0-2 delivery. And he gets it off the handle and goes the other way with it. Foul. Count stays 0-2.
He tried to blow it by him inside, but he hung in there. Fitzgerald hung in and fought it off. And that's what you have to do. You know, they've been doing an outstanding job handling that 2-strike pitch.
Swings and fouls it off behind home plate. Fitzgerald, who has been called the quiet leader on this team, one of his idols is Harold Baines of the Texas Rangers, formerly of the Chicago White Sox, who was quite a quiet leader in his own right.
Little's thrown 104 pitches up to date.
And this one is to the shortstop, Funkhauser. I guess you call it automatic by now. 6-3 put out as the first baseman may have been pulled off the bag. Assistant coach Dan McCarthy thinks he was. You make the call.
We'll see it again. It's a bang-bang play at first. I don't think he was pulled off, but he may have beat it. Oh, I think he got him.
Looks like he's still there, and the umpire at first base makes a nice call on the play. First base umpire Tom Tolman of Arlington Heights, and that'll bring up Mark Chignoli.
And again, Funkhauser made the play. He's done an outstanding job this evening.
The kid at short for Edwardsville is automatic. Chignoli grounded out in the first, sacrificed a bunt along in the fourth, and struck out to end the fifth. And he hits a high fly ball to left center, right center, trouble. Ball stays in the glove, and out number 2.
A little miscommunication out there.
Chiggs hit it a long way. He thought it was going to fall in. He was rounding second by the time the ball was caught.
I think the right fielder caught that, did he not?
The right fielder for Edwardsville, John Droz, came down with the ball. He signals back to his center fielder, Cohart, that it's okay, we got it. There's Droz cutting in front of the center fielder, Turner, and making the play. Letting the umpire and everybody else know, I got it. And here's Tim Cieslin.
Cieslin hit twice to the second baseman and once to the third baseman this evening. So he's making contact. He's been on Little all night. He's been right with his pitches. So let's see what he does this time.
Hasn't gotten the ball up in the air yet, but he has hit the ball hard on the ground and backs off a curveball that drops in for strike 1. Cieslin, the 400 hitter on this ball club, batting .411. 26 RBIs. You can see the concentration he's got on his base. And he looks at strike 2. Well, Mark Little, the pitcher, may not be throwing much heat, but his junk is coming over like gold.
I'll tell you something. In this type of ball game, everybody is so anxious up there. And if you throw off-speed pitches, you're going to be pretty successful in this type of ball game. When you have 2 good ball clubs playing.
Cieslin back to the mound. The comebacker is an easy play of it. We're going to the 9th. Still tied at 1 in the Class AA baseball final. We go to the top of the 9th of the Class AA boys baseball championship game from Springfield, and still tied at 1. Joliet Catholic scored their 1 in the 5th. Edwardsville came back in the top of the 6th to tie it. We've been there ever since. Leading off the top of the 9th is the number 8 hitter in Tom Pyle's order, Dave Slemmer, the third baseman. He'll be followed by Turner and the leadoff hitter, Funkhauser. Slemmer has reached base once on a fielder's choice, but that was to close out an inning. He has hopped up twice, once to the second baseman and once to the first baseman in his other 2 at-bats. The Edwardsville Tigers against Joliet Catholic and the Hilltoppers, winners of 14 of their last 15 ball games. Coming out of the very difficult Lockport Regional. Up high, ball 3 as Mark Hinsey on the hill. In his second inning of relief, first starter Tim Cieslin. Hinsey struck out the side of the 8th in between a wild pitch and there's a start. Well, this, of course, is usually a difficult start for a pitcher when he walks the leadoff hitter. And that's what Hinsey's done here. have a pinch runner for Slemmer. Going out to the field, number 22. Check that, Dave Slemmer coming back in for the pinch hitter. So the pinch hitter does his job by getting a base on balls. Slemmer, whose slot that was, comes back into the game. And that's part of the re-entry rule as we see Cameron Turner come in. And Mike, that's really been a big plus for high school baseball. Everybody charging, throw over to first, and runner is back in time.
Yes, you know, it gives you a little more options to work with. It gives you more playing time for some players to get them a chance to get in the ball game. And, you know, it's a lot nicer for high school ball.
And it allows a player like Slemmer, who sat on the bench for a pinch hitter, come back into the game. And, of course, you can only do that once with a player. Here comes the second baseman and third baseman charging. Ball is outside for 1-0. The Tigers, who came through the Edwardsville Regional with wins over East Alton and Jerseyville in the Granite City Sectional, winning over Highland and Belleville, captured the quarterfinal over Champaign Centennial 3-0, and then beat Chicago Simeon in the quarterfinal, or the semifinal here, 8-1. Joliet Catholic, who won over Bolingbrook, Lockport, and Joliet Central in the Lockport Regional, then went and hosted their own sectional, beating West Aurora and Hinsdale South. Coming here to Springfield to knock off Loves Park Harlem. The runner going, a swing and a miss, and a stolen base.
I don't think they call it a strike. I think he pulled his bat back in time, Joe. We got a 2-0 count.
Well, my fault for looking away from the monitor for a bit. We'll look back at it and see it yourself.
Squares around, now he'll pull it back. He pulls it back in time. Ball's down in the dirt.
Stolen base number 3 in this ball game for the fleet-footed Motto Marauders, and the bunt goes down the line. Will advance to under the third. Now they're going to mix up on who
may give him a hit.
Ball.
Well, they gave him a base hit.
A bunt single.
That's our boy Turner.
Second base hit of the game for Edwardsville, and the young man who has started only 3 games in the varsity in the last 2 days. Cameron Turner at first base with a bunt signal that puts runners on the corners and no outs in the top of the 9th. Number 8 hitter, Flowers, and the number 7 hitter, Flowers, and the number 9 hitter, Turner, with the 2 Edwardsville base hits. And a pow out on the mound is Joe Rodiguero. Meantime, Motto Pyle over there talking with his runners.
The coaches are conversing there as to what their plan of attack is, possibly another pinch runner being brought in, or shall they try to maybe have a safety squeeze where they're going to advance the runner from first on a bunt, and then the runner at third base see who's making a play. If third baseman's making a play, as soon as he cuts loose with the ball, he'll come. You know, there's a lot of different options here, and you got to really be able to play a good bunt defense. As we talked earlier to Joliet today to find out, how they felt about their bunt defense, and they felt that it was very good, and they could defense the bunting game. So let's see what happens.
Tim Funkhauser is the hitter. He squares to the bunt. There goes the runner. They'll throw to the cutoff man, and nobody goes. Stolen base number 4 on the day for Edwardsville. And now first base is open with no outs at the top of the 9th. In high school baseball, if they're going to walk a batter intentionally, they can just let the umpire know, and he'll walk over there without
They don't have to throw
pitches.
they don't have to throw pitches, right? All he's got to do is notify the umpire to put the runner or the batter on.
And in this case, they will pitch to the batter with first base open. And now an indication coming over from the Joliet Catholic dugout, and they will request the intentional walk. And so Funkhauser gets a freebie and loads him up in the top of the 9th with no outs. So it'll be Funkhauser over at first base, Turner at second, and Slemmer at third base. For the Tigers, they are loaded up out there. Mark Hinsey on the hill for Joliet Catholic. And manager Tom Pyle of Edwardsville in the third base dugout. flashing enough signals to be arrested. Dan
Traffic
McCarthy,
cop.
the assistant coach out of the Joliet dugout, positioning his fielders the way he wants them. He wants the second baseman deep, or at least medium range into the hole.
Well, there's no outs. I think I'd taken, I'd have my infielders in. Play the play at the plate. I mean, that's what you have to do. Now, the second baseman's jockeying back and forth.
And squaring for the bunt, looking for the squeeze. Edwardsville's first and only run of the game back in the 6th was on a successful squeeze bunt.
And they may try it again. He's bunted once tonight for a sacrifice first time up. I think they wanted to see what the defense, they faked the squeeze on the first pitch to see what the defense was going to do. They may come with it right here.
Infield pulled in. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Squares for the bunt in the third, 2-0. Tom Pyle, who's had diabetes now for the last few years, despite all that high energy of his, but taking on an assistant coach this year, an additional coach, along with Mike Waldo and Darrell Butler, to help take some of the pressure and time consumption off it. But he still says he works at it too hard. Squares for the bunt again. Up high, ball 3.
Now, you know, the pitcher doesn't want to walk him. Now he's got to come over with the strike. Coach Pyle's giving a bunch of signs. This would be a good time to put it on. And if your hitter, you know, if you have a smart hitter, he knows that if it's a ball, he lays off of it. If it's a pitch that's close to the strike zone, then you bunt it.
Well, as we're seeing here in this case, Drost shaking up the pitcher more than anything else. Fastball across home plate for strike 1.
Let's see what he gives here now.
So
Motto
Motto,
that gum pretty good.
I wonder if the bubble is a sign.
I don't know. He just went to the bell. He hadn't gone to the belt all night. This could be it. They like I say, it could be the bubble gum.
Maybe the bubble means everybody's going.
Everybody's on the bubble and they're running. Let's see how much we know.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't put it past Pyle to do something. Bases loaded, top of the 9th. Tied 1-1. Edwardsville at the plate.
Squeeze is coming. Squeeze is coming.
And a 3-1 delivery. No, they're going to third. Runner is back there. A low throw, but
That scored
Chesky,
2
the
runs
third
right
baseman.
there. That throw will score 2 on that one.
There's a lot of room behind first and third base, and the ball has a tendency to bounce deeper down the line when it is thrown past either of the cornerbacks. Three-one delivery. There's the squeeze bunt. It is gone fair. They cannot make a play, and it's 2-1 Edwardsville. Scoring in from third is Slemmer. And the second squeeze bunt of the game produces the second run of the game for the Edwardsville Moranos.
He does a good job on this pitch. This pitch is out of the strike zone. The squeeze was on. He did a nice job getting a piece of the ball, putting it in play. We watch right here. He may come right back with it. He may come right back with the squeeze.
Pyle all over the place with the signs down the third base line. Still no outs and the bases loaded.
We'll fake the bunt right here, the first one, I think. Oh, he's going to swing away. Oh,
And
he's
it
going
goes
to score
up
another one.
middle. A run will score to first, and they get the runner at first base, but the run scores from third as Cameron Turner gives this ball club a 2-run lead. Tom Price, the hitter, on the fielder's choice. Check that out, the RBI groundout gives Tom Pyle and the Tigers and their fans a 3-1 lead here in the top of the 9th.
He'll get credit for an RBI on that. One out.
Well, here's Little. Funkhauser over third base. Drost at second. First base is open.
I don't know if I'd let this guy beat me here. I think I'd put him on. Both bases back up, and you got the double play in order.
Mark Little, a .413 hitter with 34 RBIs and 8 home runs coming into the tournament. pulls away from the bunt. It is a strike. No intentions there, but they are shaking up the Joliet pitcher. Now Pyle punch it out there, young man. That's his style.
Very intense. Very intense, Coach.
Well, they call him Motto. His shoulders rounded out and that intense tightness of his. And he hits a shot in the alley and right center. Running it down is the right fielder. The sacrifice fly will score. Gross, or rather Funkhauser from third. It is a 4-1 Edwardsville lead. On the sacrifice fly from Little on a nice running catch with the right fielder here running away from the plate. There was no way to get him.
No, it was just the ball was outside, and we put the bat on the ball, drove it to right center, deep right center, and scoring the run easily from third base. And I was surprised the sitting runner at second base didn't tag and go to third.
Joe's still over at second base. Mark Hinsey throwing to the hitter, J.J. Sherba, swinging strike one. 2 outs now at the top of the ninth. But the Tigers have scored 3 here in their half of the ninth. Joliet Catholic will have their number 4, 5, and 6 hitters coming up at the bottom of the ninth. Sherba's yet to get a hit today. He's grounded out 3 times, possibly 4 here. And the throw by Fitzgerald ends the ninth, but a big inning for the Tigers. They get 3 runs on just 1 hit. Sacrifice bunt, sacrifice fly do the job, and it's 4-1 going into the bottom of the ninth. The Hilltoppers need 3 to tie. We're going to the bottom of the ninth, what could be the final inning of this Class AA baseball championship game. Edwardsville leading Joliet Catholic 4-1. Joliet coming up to the plate with their number 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Joe Passion here along with Mike McDonald of Morton High School, whose ball club won this championship. And when you were just 3 outs away from a W in this one, Mike, I wonder how you were feeling in comparison to how Tom Pyle of Edwardsville feeling right now as Mike Cardwell steps in.
I think we both had kind of the same feelings, you know, just these are the toughest 3 outs in baseball. Right here is, you know, you got to look at them one at a time. And you can't, you know, you just got to take each pitch as they come up.
Mark Little, who has been on the hill all the way for the Tigers. His first pitch, a strike call on the outside corner. Still has his location here. .109 pitches thrown for Little as we go here into the ninth. And that's a good load for a high school pitcher.
Yes, it is. You know, you try to look at about 90, right at 90 pitch, 90 to 95, but I tell you too, it's at the end of the season, you know, and now the weather's a little nicer. Your arm's in shape at this point in time, not like it's the first game of the year. So, you know, it depends on each kid at this point. We had a regional game in ours and went 15, in our regional tournament went 15 innings, and a kid threw 190 pitches. That's an awful lot. I mean, I would never go that long with a pitcher.
Cardwell backs off one. It's 3-1. Joliet Catholic was down 5-1 going into the bottom of the 7th of their regional final with a very good Joliet Central team. Actually 5-1 in the 5th. They scored 3 to bring it to within 1 and then scored the tying run in the bottom of the 7th. Went on to the 9th and won the ball game. So this is a team that has shown in a pressure-packed game they can come back and win the ball game. And they start off in the right direction with a base on balls to leadoff hitter Mike Cardwell.
You know, right here, I think Joliet's going to be taking the first, you know, taking a called strike.
Catch up baseball, huh, Coach?
That's right. I think you have to. You know, you're 3 runs down. You're not going to be up there, you know, swinging away. You got to play a little percentage baseball right here, and just wait. Now he's throwing what, 5 balls in a row.
One knows the count. Tom Pyle out of the dugout asking some questions to some folks behind the cage.
Where's the pitch? He's getting a little help from the fans behind the backstop here, but
at least he knows the umpire can't, or maybe will not throw the fans out of the ballpark, but he can do that to the manager. Brett Franceschi is walked, popped out, and grounded out to the pitcher. And he hits a shot down the line. It will go foul. Got ahead of the pitch on his handle of the bat and sent it foul just beyond the infield.
This ball was inside, kind of an off-speed pitch, and he just turned on it again, and you know, kind of a lazy line drive down the line and just foul again. Boy, they've been there all night around that line.
Well, Franceschi hit that line shot way back in the 5th inning, or I believe it was the 4th inning. That was controversially called foul by the third base umpire.
You know, and that was kind of a big play too in the ball game.
Very big play, because at the time the Hilltoppers had 2 runners aboard. Right. A couple pitches later, Franceschi pops out, ends the inning. 1-2 count. The kick and the delivery fouled off. No, it got away.
Oh, wild pitch.
And so a strikeout and a wild pitch has Joliet Catholic runners at first and second base.
Oh, no. There's a runner at first base. He's automatically out. But the runner can advance on the play.
Check that. So Franceschi, despite striking out, does advance the runner to second. And with 1 out, it'll be Mike Pitek. Pitek has singled and struck out twice here this evening. Left-handed hitter facing a righty, and he throws it down in the dirt inside for ball 1. Due to the length of the broadcast and this game here today, our pregame short will be simple, but we will show you the celebration, so stay with us no matter which way it goes. 1-0 count, first and third open, a runner at second.
You know, on this time factor here in this ball game, you know, in the 7th inning, at the end of 7 innings, I think we played about an hour and 20 minutes. Normal high school games about an hour 30 to an hour and 45 minutes, and we've gone over 2 hours now. And it's, you know, that's just the difference. You know, just 2 innings of play.
2-0 the count. And the strike called on the outside corner. On deck is Mark Hinsey, the relief pitcher. Officially over 2.5 hours already into this ball game from the top. 2-1 count on Pitek. And it's down low, ball 3. The on-deck hitter, Mark Hinsey, has only had 13 at-bats coming into this championship series. He's the relief pitcher and will be called on to hit. The 3-1 delivery. Strike call on the outside corner. Brings it full with 1 out and a man on second. 4-1 Edwardsville. Both teams' first appearance in the state championship baseball game. You got a championship ring on your finger from Morton. That's got to be something you cherish for a long time. And that is a called strike 3 on the outside corner against Pitek. 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. The Edwardsville fans are on their feet to support Mark Little.
This pitch here was on the outside corner. Right there, and boy, you know, it's a tough pitch to hit, but yet, you know, if anything's close, you've got to protect the plate and foul it off. I've said that enough tonight. You know, and I say that to my kids all the time with 2 strikes. If it's close, get a piece of it. Foul it off.
Well, here is Mark Hinsey at the plate, trying to keep something alive for Joliet Catholic. And he looks at a called strike 1. Hinsey in 13 at-bats this season has 4 hits for a 308 RBI. He does have 4 RBIs in those 4 hits, though. So when he has hit the ball, he's pushed somebody across, and he's got a runner at second in this situation. Looks down low, wanted to go after it, but it went low for ball one, even in the count at 1-1. And on deck is McGraw, who can hit the long ball.
If they can get to him, and they could tie it up with one swing.
You can hear the Edwardsville crowd applauding in anticipation of one more out in a state championship. A chopper to second base. Flowers comes in. He says he's got it. Makes the play. It's all over. The Edwardsville Tigers, the Motto Marauders, are the 1990 Class AA boys baseball champions. They did it with squeezed bunts. They did it with walks and stolen bases. They did it with every way possible in the game of baseball, and they've done it for the very first time.
Give Joliet a lot of credit. They played well, too, and it was a well-played ball game by both teams. Fantastic, aggressive baseball. Kind of like to see in a championship.
4 runs on 3 hits. No errors. Nine men left aboard for Edwardsville. The winning pitcher is Mark Little, 3-1. He went all the way for the complete game victory. For Joliet Catholic, who closes out their year, number 2 in the state at 25-6. For first-year coach Joe Rodegaro, 1 run on 4 hits, 2 errors, and 4 men left on base. And while Tom Pyle and his ball club celebrate this Class AA baseball championship, Joliet Catholic will come in to take their second-place trophy, and there are just 2 of the heroes. I want to remind you of our next IHSA event here on Sports Channel. It'll be tomorrow night, and the Class AA Girls Softball Championship will come your way at 9:30 p.m. The executive producer for this game has been Steve Corman. Tonight's game has been produced and directed by Michael T. Lear. Remote facilities provided by Trio Video of Chicago. Stay tuned for Discover Wisconsin, an inside look at the Dairy State. For Mike McDonald, I'm Joe Passion. Once again, our final score for the Class AA Baseball Championship, Edwardsville beats Joliet Catholic 4-1. The proceeding has been an exclusive Sports Channel presentation.